Megan Fox has the story.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox. Megan Fox, a national journalist.
Mastodon. I will never be able to say that out loud.
It feels like the Flintstones live there.
It does.
Well, don't trust women. I think you just touched on that with your last. That's what they brought. We're going to have to bring back chaperones.
Jesus, no.
Just careful. Stop! Right. Ooh. Hard right.
How did you screw up a stove, Megan? You're a woman. I thought that was baked into you, like at the genetic level, how to operate kitchen equipment.
And honestly, Megan, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I've been very nice to you.
You get Dino hanging out outside chewing on a large bone.
I highly recommend being targeted by the New York Times and Rolling Stone for weight loss. And I'd say, keep it coming. I need to lose 20 more. Please, keep it coming.
Explain to me, Megan, why did this country not have a holiday once a year? That's the time you vote. If you don't show up and vote, up your ass. You don't get another chance. You don't get, I don't care if you're in the hospital. Crawl to the stake, crawl there. But that's it. One day, 12 hours, and then you're done. And you count them that day, and that night, you know who the hell won.
I will eat you alive. You want to tangle? You want to go?
The only thing going through my head is, what are you going to do when Megan Fox runs wild on you, brother?
He made a deal with the devil. She's the devil.
He wants that.
Oh, God. Gross! Oh! All right. Penalty box for slug. Yep.
Of a mile.
Are you ready to behave yourself now, slug?
This frustrating rep.
Are you ready to behave yourself? Repossessed puppies. I'm hiding pork chop. Have you seen his little pork chop? Oh my God, pork chop is the cutest.
That sounds bad.
Have you seen it?
Pork is pork.
Though you may be tempted, do not contact any person or persons mentioned on this stream. Do not even think about contacting anyone who may be the topic of the daily news. If you should do that, the host will question your IQ, possibly call you names, and mock you for disobeying these basic rules of decency.
All the best.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It is Wednesday. It's so good to be here with my friends. I really appreciate you guys. Flux, House of Flux, and Rosalind Duke are with us today, and I am thrilled that they're here. Some days you really need friends around you. Good morning. Yeah. I had a difficult weekend because we buried my mother-in-law this weekend. But it was, terrible, but also wonderful. And
getting sparkles on my face.
Yes, it has some kind
I thought it was a filter.
I did too, but now I think it's coming in through the window, but I like it.
No, it's coming through the window, but it's bouncing off my disco ball helmet.
Nice.
I kind of like it. I kind of like it. But yeah, the service was wonderful and terrible and, just everything. But going home was really good. I was really happy to be there. It was one of the best trips back to Chicago that I've had. We saw a lot of old friends, had a really great surprise. One of my best friends showed up. I had no idea she was coming. And it was just a really wonderful reunion with everybody, seeing family. God, you know what? Always go to the funeral. That's a rule in life, right? When there is one, you go.
Yeah.
Because you need that. And it was just great to see everybody. My mother-in-law was so loved. Her funeral was packed.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, not that I'm surprised by that, but she touched so many people, so many young kids too. Like when all of our friends, like our age group, there were so many kids around the neighborhood who showed up. who aren't kids anymore, but, showed up to pay their respects because Wendy always allowed them, had them in, invited them in. Her couch was always open and everybody remembers it. And it was really great. So anyway, if I'm seem off, that's probably why. I'm exhausted. I barely got any sleep. None of us did. It was a very long car ride. My back is killing me. And hopefully things will get better. How are you guys? How was your weekend?
It's good. It's good. We went out to meet a potential new member of the family, and we're going to go pick her up today.
Oh, that's exciting.
It is. It is another fur baby.
Nice. For a minute, I thought you meant maybe your son found someone he wanted to invite into the family.
No, not yet.
All right. And
Nice.
so today I have a special surprise for you guys today. If you recall, I covered the Maya Kowalski trial back in, I don't know, was it 2 years ago now? I feel like it's been a long time. It must have been 2 years ago. Anyway, Dr. Joe Corcoran was the star witness for the plaintiff. And he was the expert testimony that really destroyed Johns Hopkins. And he talked about what regular protocols are and how they failed all of theirs. And it was great. So anyway, he is going to be here today to watch Dr. Verena Brown's testimony. We are on part 2 of Dr. Verena Brown. She is the child abuse pediatrician who diagnosed, or was one of the ones who diagnosed Jameson Timms with child abuse instead of Ehlers-Danlos or other underlying disorders that led to his incarceration away from his family. So we are talking, Dr. Goodhair. Dr. Goodhair is going to be with us. I pinned the bingo link to the top of the chat along with super tips. Make sure you use those. If you want to support the show, use super tips. Those are great. Or super chats. I appreciate it. Super chats like this one. Thanks, Nancy. $5 for a coffee. I appreciate that. I do like coffee. Nice scrunchie, by the way, Flux. I see you brought your scrunchie. You're ready for the show in case you need to do any demonstrations of female anatomy. Just for those of you who missed it, Dr. Verena Brown has a very interesting Instagram page where she demonstrates female anatomy using a scrunchie. Yeah. Also, I know last week we talked a little bit. I said Verena Brown is a controversial doctor. Well, at the time, I couldn't find the article I was looking for, but I have found it since then. So on medicalkidnap.com has this article about another family that Verena Brown was involved with in Kentucky. So another sign that these child abuse pediatricians are a problem is when they hop states. So you notice that she's in Georgia now. Well, she was in Kentucky before, and she was doing this to people there. So this is the family. Let me show you the picture. I was reading through this. It's a very long and complicated story, so it's not something I can really sum up in a few minutes. But here she is. See, this is her when she was in Kentucky. She worked at Vanderbilt.
She looked kind of normal there. How long ago was that photo?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But this poor little baby she diagnosed him with shaken baby syndrome and took these children from these parents. And as we all know now, shaken baby syndrome has been debunked by there can be other underlying causes. And in this case, in this family's case, they had documented proof that their baby got extremely ill every time he got a vaccine. And they had expert doctors testify that there can be very rare vaccine injuries that mimic the triad of symptoms that they use to diagnose shaken baby syndrome. How crazy is that? But so that's why I still don't know what happened in this case, but it sounds like they had a terrible judge who also was like, he got enraged that the parents went and got a second opinion. And because of it, they took the babies away from family. And put them in foster care where they were told not to take the baby to another doctor, which is crazy. And then
How is the judge allowed to say that?
I don't know, but he did. And the parents and the grandmother were jailed. Like, and grandma was the foster parent until they took the baby away for taking the baby to a doctor. Can you believe this? I mean, it's true. It's sometimes they just want you to listen to the state doctor, and that's it. You're not allowed to go get. That's why in Georgia they had to have a new law that said, getting a second opinion is the parent's right. Because so many of these places, so many of these states, you'll have family court judges saying you're not allowed to get a second opinion. That's why there had to be a law in Georgia. How crazy is it that there has to be a law for this? So
I think Texas passed something like that too.
They did. Yep. After the Drake Pardo case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that was such a horrific case as well. And they weren't allowed to get a second opinion. They were actually attacked by the hospital for trying to get a second opinion. That's when CPS got involved, when they were like, okay, we hear you, but we want to get a second opinion on what they think is wrong at a different hospital. And that's when they called CPS and took the baby. Drake Pardo. So I haven't read the rest of this, but I do believe this ended up in a lawsuit as well. Let me see. It's a really long article, but if you guys want to read it, it is on medicalkidnap.com, which has covered a lot of these stories. And if you just, I'll put the link to it somewhere. I'll put it in the description of the video after we start watching this. All right. If you have your bingo cards open, does everyone have your bingo cards?
I don't.
Where is
Did you
mine?
post the link?
Yeah, it's pinned to the top of the chat. I should put it in.
Yep.
I can put it in the private chat too. Did I?
That was just me not using my eyes.
There we go. All right. Generate cards. There we go. All right, what do we have today? Mo's out today, by the way. She had Mo in the Deep End had her infusions a couple days ago or last week, and so she always feels really bad after she has those. So she's not feeling great today. So she's not going to be here. But we hope that she feels better soon. Okay, here's our bingo for today. Free space, obviously you can check off. We have conflicting testimony, overruled. Meg's blood pressure meds stop working. What a bitch. Get squunched. Sidebar. Flux hates prosecutor. The C word. Sex scandal face. Evasive answers. Coughing in gallery. Court reporter stink eye. Prosecutor earns Megan's hate. Blink rate anomaly. Lazy investigator. Drunk or high witness. Defensive body language. Judge gets annoyed. State lies. Hair talk. Witch sighting. Dumpster moment. Megan snorts. And the simulation does not disappoint. All right. So get ready for that. All right. I have to pull up. I don't have it set. All right. I got to pull this up. If you remember, we were watching Dr. Verena Brown. She appeared to be very drunk or high. We probably could just scratch that one off now because she did not appear to be sober in any way. We are an hour into her 3-hour testimony, actually almost 4-hour testimony. So we will, and Dr. Joe Corcoran, Dr. Goodhair will be joining us probably between now and around 9:30, maybe a little later. So we'll just get started and he can pop in here when he's ready. How do I share this? Why do I have circus music in my head?
Because this clown.
Maybe. All right, I'm going to try and again, folks, remember, just put up with the audio. Court audio is never any good.
What is abnormal for vitamin D? So anything less than 20 is insufficient to vitamin D.
And his came in at 32?
Yes.
Did he look at his phosphorus?
Yes.
What was his phosphorus?
It was normal. I would have to look at the exact number, refresh my memory.
Did you test for Willebrand?
Yes.
Did he have any variants that would indicate that that was the cause?
That was all normal.
What is Willebrand?
So von Willebrand is a factor that tests for von Willebrand disease. Von Willebrand disease is a bleeding disorder. It's typically pretty mild, but it can cause bruising. Within the von Willebrand panel is also Factor 8 is something that can affect bone
Oh, I should have put mouth noises.
Yes.
I forgot
Oh,
to
yeah,
put mouth noises on the bingo card. I forgot all about this bitch. No, we have to put up with the mouth.
Terrible.
Yuck.
It's the ASMR no one ever wanted. Verena, take a drink.
Cause of hemophilia if it's low. Jameson's was slightly elevated, which is not concerning because factor 8 is also called something that's a acute phase reactant. An acute phase reactant is something that the body does when the body is slightly stressed, such as when you have fractures. It's only concerning when it's low. So for the purposes of bleeding disorders, everything was normal.
Did you order osteogenesis imperfecta testing?
Yes.
What was the results?
So that was the variant of unknown significance that we referred to genetics, and Jameson was not able to go.
If a baby had osteogenesis imperfecta, how rare would it be for it to have broken ribs as
believe we have
opposed
a
to the
witch
long
sighting.
bones?
So
There's a witch in the courtroom. She's wearing a cape. If those of you who have not been here before, this woman wears a cape in the courtroom. We're not sure why. Maybe she just really wants us to know that she's a witch. I'm checking it off. This is an easy bingo. Just I'm checking it off. There's a witch in the courtroom.
Osteogenesis imperfecta tends to affect the long bones of the body, so think arms, legs. It doesn't typically affect the axial skeleton, so skull, ribs. It can, but it's exceedingly rare.
Okay. What was his factor 9 assay results?
Yeah, we're normal.
What is that?
So factor 9, like factor 8, is a clotting factor that, if it's low, can be significant for hemophilia. Now, if you remember, we talked about earlier how at Erlanger at 6 weeks, it was slightly low. In tiny babies, factors can be aberrant. They can be a little bit low because there's no good value, no good standards for little babies. It doesn't mean that they have it. By the time they are a couple months old, they peak to normal older kid adult values. And that's exactly what Jameson's did.
And what was his platelet count?
Normal.
Were there any issues with his heart?
No.
Were there any issues with his thyroid?
No.
Were there any concerns about Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome?
No.
Why not?
So Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, when you are Jameson's age, so the hypermobile type, which occurs in 80% of people, you really can't test for it until you have skeletal maturity, which means that until like you're a teenager. The reason why that is that babies by nature are hypermobile. Think about a baby. They're very bendy. And so any testing for Ehlers-Danlos in a baby is really bendy, clinically significant.
Is that a medical term? Bendy babies?
I would like to know if that's a medical term. Oh, that should have been on the bingo card. Dang it, bendy.
Bendy babies.
Bendy babies.
Bendy babies.
I don't think bendy babies can get squunched, though.
Is that for other forms of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, you would have other issues with your body that you could see. Things like club feet, things like your actual frenulum that we talked about earlier would be non-existent. Things like papules on your skin, things like if you put a Band-Aid on, your skin would rip. You would have clinical signs that Jameson did not have.
Okay. Now, I don't want to gloss over it, but in your initial question,
would a 3-month-old baby ever have had a Band-Aid on his skin? I'm just saying. I mean, how would you know if a Band-Aid would rip his skin if he's never had one? And I would imagine that he probably hasn't had a Band-Aid on him.
Well, those what about the vaccines that you have on the bottom of their feet when they're born? Sometimes they put a bandage on that.
Do they? Well, I know. Well, they do in the hospital. Like when they put that tape on the, especially if you were in. Was he ever in the NICU? I know he was born premature. I wonder if he was. I don't remember if he was in the NICU, but still, it's not exactly a thing you would do with the baby all the time.
Questions to the parents. The mother indicated that she was not flexible. What was that conversation?
She indicated that, I remember she was talking a lot actually about her sister being way more flexible than she was. And the context of that conversation was,
she's rebooting again.
Ask screening questions for families, and part of that is both
Those
for
eyes,
screening
man.
for OI and screening for Ehlers-Danlos. Because and it is important. I mean, just the other day, I had a mom that we ended up thinking was Ehlers-Danlos because of what her symptoms were. So you have to make
Lucky
sure that you're
her.
not missing anything in the
She didn't
parents'
get
account.
arrested?
There was no indication for either parents that's, yes, this is something that we absolutely need to be worried about.
Okay. Did you see Jameson again on June the 16th?
I did.
Was a skeletal survey ordered?
Yes.
Did you also do a physical examination of Jameson?
I did.
Did he have any new fractures or bruises or anything along those lines?
He didn't, and this is really important. This is so important because if you have a genetic problem, it doesn't go away. It doesn't just spontaneously cure itself. By the time I saw Jameson at 8
It doesn't
months,
squunch itself.
he was pulling to a stand, and he was in his aunt's care at the time, and I asked her, he's pulling to a stand, does he fall? And she said, yes, he falls.
So I'll sustain an objection.
You can't say what she told you at that point in time, but did you have any indication that he had received any new bruises or any new breaks based on his new skill of being able to pull up?
Based on his new skill of being able to pull up, he had not sustained any new breaks or any new bruises. And we would expect that if he were a fragile child, that he would have significantly more reason to have new breaks and new bruises.
I'm going to go back to the conversations you had with the
What does that
parents,
mean? He would
specifically
have
in
significant
January
more
of
reason
2022.
to have more breaks.
Because he was pulling up. So like she said, he would be falling down. And so he would be doing more things that would lead to bruising or breaking.
Right.
Whereas an infant is just laying there all day, maybe
Wasn't
rolling.
he not mobile?
No, well, by the time she re-examined him in June, he was 8 months old. So this is when he's the timeline here is this is the skeletal that they did on June 16th, which that was after he was mobile and pulling himself up. Okay.
I'm tracking.
Did the parents mention whether or not they left with Jameson to other locations or stayed at the home?
They indicated that they mostly stayed at the home.
And how did Miss Timms view Dr. Pritchett during your conversations with her?
She was not happy.
I'm not
What? Sure which doctor they're actually referring to here.
Me either. Who's that?
Dr. Harvin Pickett. That may have been the question, and I still think it is seeking to elicit improper hearsay.
Okay, what is your question, Ms. Fox, if you'll refresh?
That is certainly the doctor I'm referring to, and there was a specific comment made, and the state would like to elicit that during the course of the conversation. That
Well,
was
which doctor?
between
Pickett?
Miss Timms and this
Did you
doctor.
call?
Yeah, I
did you
think
call
she just said
Pickett
Pickett.
Pritchard?
Ms. Timms and which doctor?
Which
This
doctor?
witness,
Dr. Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, which doctor?
Specifically.
Perfect.
This
Miss
witness
Timms made the statement to Dr. Brown.
to Dr. Brown. Okay, do you have an objection
Dr.
to
Brown.
that question?
Wait, what? Hold the fuck on. She
Whose
just said
doctor is-
Dr. Pritchard. Then now she says Dr. Brown. What freaking doctor are we talking about? Listen to the judge say what doctor, and then listen to you just heard her say Dr. Pritchett. Now she's going to say Dr. Brown. Listen to
In the
this.
course of the conversation that was between Miss Timms and this doctor.
Ms. Timms and which doctor? This witness or
Dr. Brown,
Harvin Pickett?
specifically.
This
Miss
witness
Timms made the statement to Dr. Brown.
to Dr. Brown. Okay, do you have an objection to that question?
We will certainly hear her testimony regarding that. That would be admissible, but again, I was just concerned about which doctor we were talking about.
Yeah.
What statement was made in your presence or to you?
That she would be finding another pediatrician.
How many children
Okay,
were
so-
referred
so-
to?
They did mean Harbin Pickett. And she said Pritchard, and she never actually corrected herself. So Neither one of these people even knows the name of the pediatrician, first of all. Dr. Harbin Pickett. That was that other bitch that we watched who was horrible. She's the worst one so far. If you missed Pickett's testimony, I believe we started, wasn't that day one?
Don't we have a meme?
Yeah.
We have a meme of her,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there are
Yeah.
so many.
Dr. Harbin Pickett, just to remind you, this is who we're talking about. She was quite the character. Harbin Pickett, definite witch vibes. The resting bitch face was off the charts. I've never seen anything like it in my whole life. So that's who she means, not Pritchett. She's talking about Pickett, Harbin Pickett. Good Lord. All right, here we go.
The CHOA child abuse specialist during the time frame of 2022 to 2023?
I believe it was around 2000 or so.
You know what? I also it just sunk in. So one of the reasons why this woman decided that the Timms were abusing their baby is because Carrie Timms told her she wanted a new pediatrician.
That's what I just got. Is that because she dared question her? How dare you?
Yep.
How dare you? And that's when she was like, okay, time to open up the case.
Parents, note to self, when you're involved in these high stakes situations, never ever tell these people you're unhappy with them. Kiss their asses constantly and wait. And when you get out of there, then do what you need to do. Don't tell any of these people, I'm not happy with my medical situation. I'm not happy with the medical advice. Never, ever, ever. Just treat them like they're the absolute best at everything they do. And then, file your complaints after they release you. Because holy shit, don't tell these people, I don't like my pediatrician. I don't trust her. Don't do that. I mean, but it's not like it's Carrie's fault. How is she supposed to know that saying that? Of course it's retaliation, Marcy, but unfortunately, you can't stop them from doing it. They're going to do it. They're going to retaliate. The second you say you're not happy with something, they're going to retaliate.
And how many of those cases did your team actually complete consultations on?
I believe it was around 200 or so.
How many of the specialists do you have on your team?
3.
And out of the ones that were completed, how many actually came back as child abuse?
So out of the patients that we saw, 35% were diagnosed as child abuse.
35%.
And after examining Jameson, reviewing his medical history, are the
35? That is a very high number. I would have thought 10% was a high number. 35% of everybody she sees as a child abuser?
That's insane. I want to know, okay, you're diagnosing this as child abuse, but how much of it is actually resulting in charges and cases and like actual child abuse?
That's a good question because we know
just saying.
Because we know that 80% of all DCF and CPS investigations are unfounded. So of that 35%, 80% of those will be determined unfounded according to statistics, national statistics. That's horrific. That means that you've got a vast majority of parents being falsely accused of child abuse by these people. Guys, please keep in mind that make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. YouTube does not like us talking about this topic, and I can't go through this stream without saying the words child abuse. But if I try to make a short video, they will about it. I can't mention it at all, or they will completely hide the video. So please help us out, support the show. Make sure that you tell everybody that we're live, get more eyeballs on this. You can watch on Rumble. We're also live on X and also on YouTube. And of course, if you can, make sure you hit that like button because everybody can do that unless your thumbs are broken. And subscribe because it's free. And if you can throw a couple bucks at the show, we appreciate it. And, anything helps. Don't send me your ramen money, though. If you only have money left for ramen this week, don't do that. Just send me your Starbucks money. You don't want to go there anyway because they're refusing to write Charlie Kirk on their cups. Did you hear about this?
No.
So people have been going into Starbucks and ordering Charlie's favorite drink and putting his name on there. When they ask you for a name for the order, and Starbucks is refusing to do it. And I just think, all right, it's a small thing. It's a small thing, and one woman got her cup back and it said loser on it. So
wow.
So for sure, send me your Starbucks money. You're not going there anyway because they're acting badly right now.
Yes, they are.
They're acting very badly. Oh gosh. The only high point in my weekend, well, not the only one because being with family was amazing, but one of the high points was lounging on the couch at my sister-in-law's house, and my daughter and I were jointly working on getting people fired all weekend for saying horrific things. We were busy reporting people for saying horrific things about an assassination. And
nice.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was a good family bonding moment for us.
Nice.
And whenever anyone would walk into the room, the two of us are huddled up on the couch giggling, and people are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing."
Canceling people.
Just canceling. I'm like, another one bites the dust. Literally all weekend. You guys can see the proof of it on my X account. Oh, Lord. Here we go. Speaking of evil.
Injuries and symptoms on Jameson Timms consistent or inconsistent with child abuse?
Given all of the constellation of findings, the bruises at Erlanger, the mouth injury and the facial abrasion, the 3 rib fractures and the vertebral fracture, all of the constellations of findings in a healthy baby that was confirmed at 8 months visit. And no accidents. We did find that Jameson was a victim of child abuse.
Your witness.
Mr. Hood.
All right. Before the defense attorney gets up, we do have a super tip here. Let me blow myself up so you can see it. All right, here we go. Thank you, Ryland Poole, for the 5.
As a drug recognition expert, I recognize drugs involved here.
Denied. Madame Court Reporter, strike that from the record. It makes the state look bad, so it cannot be allowed.
Perfect. Thank you, Ryland. We appreciate that. If you haven't tried Super Tips is a lot of fun with AI voices. There's a bunch of voices in there for you guys to pick from. Auntie Bev is one of the best. So far, we like Auntie Sue, though. Auntie Sue here is like the opposite. She's like upside down world. The reverse world of Auntie Bev. Like she's like the polar opposite. It's great. All right, here comes the cross-examination part. Very exciting.
Good afternoon, doctor.
I know we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but the judge does look like she'd be fun to hang out with. She looks like a fun lady.
Yeah, no, she does.
Well, I have an exciting announcement, everyone. Coming to the program now is Dr. Goodhair himself, Dr. Joe Corcoran. How are you, Dr. Joe?
I'm great. Hey, everybody.
Hair's looking good, as usual.
Yeah, thanks. It's going into the shop for a tune-up this afternoon. So
your barber must have to lift weights before he gets going on your hair. He's like, oh boy, it's the big one today.
So I've actually had the same young lady cut my hair for 12, 13 years. I'm a loyalist, and she gave me a really scary stat earlier this year. She said, I was looking at my clients and looking at my books for the year. She said, I had more appointments with you than any other customer. I said, is that a good thing? And honestly, you've made me so paranoid about my hair now. Right?
Aww.
That's all on you, Megan Fox.
Right. You can't lose it now. You can't.
Oh, thank God. Oh, and in your honor, I brought the infamous Stanley Cup.
Nice.
Can you make the flames go over my head? The volcano?
You're just in time. You're just in time for cross-examination of child abuse pediatrician, Dr. Verena Brown. And it should be epic. Oh, I thought I had my meme of you already still in here, but I guess I don't.
Well,
I had to make
I saw it on
room.
the thumbnail.
It was on the thumbnail. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I've actually been watching. I've been finishing up with my morning stuff, and I've been watching your show, and I saw the meme of the witch. You know, the resting witch face.
This is Dr. Harbin Pickett. Can you believe it? This is the pediatrician in this case.
She looks nice.
She's delightful.
But how have you not taken, I don't know the name of the pediatrician who's testifying now, but how
Dr. Brown.
How have you not merged her profile with Ethan Shapiro's face?
I haven't even thought about that.
I mean, come on.
Does she look like Shapiro? I'm gonna have to
No,
look
but she sounds like him.
Oh, she kind of does.
That ASRM voice is like,
yes,
we diagnosed this. Yeah.
When you were in the hospital with Maya Kowalski.
You know, Maya went
Let's
to
talk
homecoming.
about pie.
I didn't get to go to homecoming because nobody liked me.
I have a vacation I'm going to miss.
Yeah.
I
know we've committed 5 years to this case, but I've got a hard stop in November.
Who here hates pumpkin pie? He was really something else. How is Maya, by the way?
You know, so everything I've heard, she's doing very well. She is in a healthy place. You know, obviously she has some setbacks from time to time, but she's in a healthy place right now. She's really trying to put the last decade behind her, you know. Nobody can blame her. But she's doing well. She's trying some new things, which is really cool. She finished high school just after the trial was over. Finished, I want to say, number 2 or 3 in her class out of 600 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, despite all the drama that was going on, right?
Yeah.
But and she took a gap year and she's doing great. From what I understand, I talk with Jack from time to time. Kyle is finished with high school now. The kids are all grown up, you know, it's really kind of cool. And the family is in a better place. Obviously, there's still a lot to be decided. You know, the case has been in the hands of the Second District Court of Appeals here in the state of Florida since February 15th, I believe, 12th. But it's been a number of months, and you know, there's really 3 outcomes that can happen. One is that they just rule with no opinion. This all has to go back. This all has to go forward, or you know, and be retried. Or I'm sorry. This is affirmed. There's nothing to see here. This is a mess. We've got to retry these parts. Or the third is where they will kind of look at individual pieces and say, you know, this really was a judgment call, but we feel like Judge Carroll made the wrong judgment on this specific issue. And so
I really don't think they're going to do that. I think the appeals court's going to affirm it. I really do.
I sure hope so.
After hearing them, you know, interrogate the J. Hatch attorneys that day, I felt like, no, they're going to affirm this. There's no other thing to do. These are all questions for the fact finders, which were the jury, and the jury made its call. And I don't see that going any other way. But I am a little concerned that it's been sitting for so long. I don't understand why. And that to me is concerning.
Yeah, I agree with you, Megan. I think, you know, I was in the courtroom the day of the appellate hearing, and you know, to me, it really seemed like it seemed like a hard day for the J. Hatch appellate attorney, Derek Cycleather. You know, they had dozens and dozens of questions for him, clarifying, asking, probing, pushing, challenging. They had zero.
They had nothing.
Zero from Mr. Tan.
From Maya's lawyers,
yeah.
None. And they really took J. Hatch to task. And so I just feel like how could they rule in their favor? But we don't know what's going to happen. But I don't like that it's been sitting for this long. I don't like that at all.
Courts are political too, and there's a lot of there's not a lot of love for plaintiffs' attorneys in state capitals, and so there's a lot can happen that's extrajudicial. So we just hope and pray that the family gets the resolution that they've been seeking for years.
I want her to get paid. I am so tired of them withholding this money. The jury wants them to get paid. I don't think it should be legal for them to do this. It's just, it's crazy to me. And they wouldn't even deal. They wouldn't deal. They wouldn't go to mediation. They were offered to accept less, and they still wouldn't. They wouldn't deal. So I don't even want to. All right, going back to the bingo card, we can now check off hair talk. We have fulfilled that that square. We fulfilled that square. So let's do that, and then we're gonna get to here we go. Jason Hood cross-examining Dr. Verena Brown.
We go back to November.
Okay, time out just a minute. And Mr. Hood, the witness is with you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Dr. Brown, obviously in your treatment of Jameson and in terms of the conclusions that you have reached regarding Jameson, you have relied, it sounds like, somewhat extensively on records from Erlanger Hospital dating back to November of 2021. Is that correct?
I have relied somewhat on them.
Okay. And you have mentioned a concept frequently during your direct testimony that Jameson reported to Erlanger. I think the phrase that you used in your records was with extensive bruising.
Yes.
And you indicated that you had seen pictures of that bruising.
Yes.
What if those aren't bruises?
To me, they were bruises, and also in medical records at Erlanger, over and over, they were called bruises by the physicians there, by the pediatricians there, and also, by everybody that saw the patient there.
Okay. And you're familiar, obviously, with what bruises are, correct?
That's correct.
If I told you that these purple markings on Jameson that you saw in a photograph and referenced in your records had completely disappeared within 48 hours, is that consistent with a bruise in your experience?
Well, that's actually incorrect information if you look at the records.
Answer my question. If those markings had completely disappeared within 48 hours, is that consistent with a bruise?
In a baby, it can be, actually.
Are those noises in the courtroom? It sounds like clanking plates, like a restaurant.
Oh.
What is that? What is happening?
I think it's in my background. I'm sorry. I think Patty's doing her magic
Patty.
in the kitchen.
It's Patty. It's Triple G. It's
The
Triple G.
gregarious Greek goddess. Yes.
Yes. Well, it wouldn't be. She wouldn't be her gregarious Greek self if she wasn't clanking plates, because she's always cooking something delicious.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll mute my mic. Okay? I'm sorry
But
about
no,
that.
the reason why I asked is because this courtroom, there have been weird noises. In fact, we've had it on the bingo card, weird noises in the courtroom. The judge, we keep catching her eating Werthers and like crinkling the paper in the microphone. There's always weird noises. So I thought it might be the courtroom.
I'm happy to
blood work
contribute.
at Erlanger. And do you recall noting in your records at least a couple of places that the blood work at Erlanger was not complete?
Yes.
Your understanding that blood work at Erlanger had been lost?
Yes.
You understand that there was, according to the lab at Erlanger, a concerning result in terms of the factor IX assay, which you referenced deals with clotting ability, correct?
That's right. We talked about that on direct.
You also understand that a complete workup was done of this child at Erlanger and he was released to his parents. Is that correct?
Yes.
I presume, based upon some notes in your records, that you don't agree that that should have happened.
There was concern. I know that he was seen by the child abuse pediatrician there, and she actually noted concern in the chart as well.
And once the child left Erlanger and went home, on at least 2 occasions, the Department of Family and Children Services investigated this home. Are you aware of that?
In the in-between?
Yes.
I was not aware of that.
Did you ever ask that question?
Not specifically.
You dealt with defects at the hospital in January, correct?
Yes.
Extensively.
As per what do we usually do? Yes.
Okay. In fact, you have a defects liaison who works full-time in your hospital, correct?
She works for defects, and well, we actually have a couple of them, but they work for defects. They're employees for defects, but they do see cases with us, yes.
Okay. So if you need information from defects,
A couple
you have
of
no
them.
trouble
How many
getting
do they
information from
have?
defects, correct?
That's correct.
But you're not going to get answers to questions that you don't ask, right?
That's right.
Are you aware in November when the child presented to his primary care physician, his pediatrician, Dr. Harbin Pickett, she indicated that the markings on this young
Coughing in
man
the
did not
courtroom
look like
on the
bruises
bingo card.
to her?
From the medical record, she sent them in because they looked like bruises to her.
Well, she testified yesterday. Would it surprise you to know that her testimony yesterday was that she made the referral to Erlanger because she was worried about a potentially dangerous blood disorder, not bruising on this child?
That would not surprise me.
Can we also get to what a bitch?
The child presented to
Sure.
CHOA
Okay, because I'm just like, what a bitch.
on the
All right,
13th of
headphone users.
January. Is that your recollection?
Yes.
And was discharged on the 15th of January.
Yes.
And the records indicate that while there, he was resting comfortably, correct?
It depends on what page of the medical record you're looking at.
Well, let me say this. Overall, was this a baby that appeared to be in distress?
At times, he was crying.
Well, was it at times when he was with his parents, or was he crying when he was removed from his parents?
Both. When I was in the room with his parents, he was definitely crying.
Wow, that's so unusual for
At
babies.
times, the records indicate that he was fussy, but his parents were able to console him. Is
Yes.
that correct? What was viewed then as an emergency that day potentially was a dot or a mark underneath his tongue, as y'all's records reflect. Is that correct?
There was a injury to the floor of his mouth.
And do your
Glory Bird
records
has called
refer to
bingo.
that as a tear?
Oh my
Or
gosh,
as
that
an
was
injury?
early.
My
That's
particular
like you got a
We need to
perfectly
catch
lined
Joe up.
Card.
We need, yeah, that is a perfectly lined up card because we only have what, five of them? 4 of them. Yeah,
Oh, I
what a
got
bitch.
6.
Coughing in gallery, witch sighting, and hair talk. That's amazing. You had to have had it lined up perfectly.
Well, and the drunken high witness.
Yeah, drunk or high witness.
Oh, drunk or high witness. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. I mean, the eye look, Joe, are you paying attention to what her
face.
eyeballs are doing?
Oh,
What her-
yeah.
What is your do you have any thoughts on that? Because we
Yeah.
can't figure this. I mean, well, we think we figured it out, but good Lord.
We can't figure out which drug.
Right.
I'm
That's
just-
one thing.
I'm going to offer grace here and just say she's trying to stay in her happy place.
Yeah.
I like
Hey,
that.
I'll tell you
I like
what, when you sit in a chair like that, it's intense.
It's intent. Well, that's true.
That's a fair
That's a fair point. This was not live streamed like the Maya Kowalski trial, though. It was there was a camera there, though, so that could have added to the pressure, right? I should catch you up, Joe. The baby was seen in Harbin Pickett's office and had a abrasion on the cheek that looks exactly like impetigo, and that's what the doctor even said, that it looked like impetigo. And then under the tongue, near the frenulum, there was a small injury, like a laceration, maybe but the frenulum wasn't cut. It was just a red line, right? Like it got stressed or something. Anyway, the mother reported that baby was always putting fingers in the mouth, like this kind, like the two in the middle, right, straight down, and was thinking maybe the baby did that, like with fingernails or whatever. And they're like, oh no, babies that age don't put their hands in their mouths. They don't have the muscle coordination. These people literally said that, Joe. We've seen babies with their fingers in their mouths in utero.
It's like that old Richard Pryor line, who are you going to believe, me or those lion eyes of yours?
Yeah.
I mean, if the family saw it, how are you going to say it never happened, right?
Because they're claiming that babies just don't do that. It's like, are you for real right now? Because we've pretty much all had or seen babies. What the hell is wrong?
Babies don't put things in their mouths.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Sure.
That's crazy. And so what they're saying, Joe, is that this injury was caused, and I kid you not, by shoving a pacifier or a bottle in the mouth aggressively. That's their explanation, that someone was forcing a bottle in their mouths.
Can I ask the naive question? Who even looks under the tongue for abnormalities? And second question, got to ask, you using the word frenulum over and over isn't a spot on the bingo card?
It should be. I'm adding it for tomorrow. Frenulum.
Megan goes to med school.
So that's what they're talking about when they say the abrasion or whatever under the tongue.
Yeah.
And also she used one of those like a tongue blade to go under the tongue. The doctor did.
The doctor did, yeah.
Yeah, and I looked up what that is, and like it's pretty sharp. Like, what if she did it?
It's basically a broad popsicle stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Report?
Yes.
I would have to refresh my memory as exactly what I wrote. If you have my report, I'm happy to refresh my memory.
We will. I'll get back to it, and we'll certainly give you an opportunity to do that. That marking under the tongue is what prompted you, I presume, to order x-rays of the child.
So I did not order x-rays. X-rays were done prior to my consultation.
Okay. And was there a Dr. Eanes? Am I saying that name correctly? Or Dr. Fleming? Dr.
Fleming was the attending physician on the floor. So she was the one primarily taking care of him.
Okay. And you indicated that your involvement began, I presume, when the images were reviewed and the rib fractures were noted, correct?
No. The whole sequence of events was that, if I'm permitted to tell the story, Dr. Harbin had called Dr. Garcia because she had seen Jameson in her clinic. She had seen the injuries on the face and in the mouth. Dr. Garcia is the child abuse pediatrician at Erlanger.
Mm-hmm.
She was concerned for these injuries because these are sentinel injuries for abuse. They discussed, and Dr. Harbin then called DFACS. I'm not exactly sure how they found out that Jameson was then going to go to CHOA instead of back to Erlanger. But Dr. Garcia called me the next day to give me a heads up, because I was the physician on call for CHOA, that Jameson was going to come. So I was waiting for his arrival. When he arrived, he went to the ED, got admitted to Dr. Fleming. Dr. Fleming let me know. But by the time that all of that had happened and Dr. Fleming let me know, he already had his skeletal survey and all the imaging and a lot of the blood work done.
So let me make sure I understand your testimony. Prior to this child's arrival at the hospital, you're telling me that you had already been called by another, what you refer to as child abuse pediatrician, and given a heads up about this child?
Yeah, she was concerned. She had been concerned because she was aware of obviously what had happened at Erlanger, of his bruises there. And she had been called by Dr. Harbin because she was concerned for abuse from what she had been seen in clinic. And since I had happened to be the person on call for CHOA that day. Now, I didn't know when Jameson was going to come in, but I still happened to be on call when he came in, so.
Okay. The rib fractures you indicated.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Gloria Bird in the chat asked, "Does this witness get any kickbacks for claiming child abuse?" Yeah, her job. Her whole job is a child abuse pediatrician. That's the whole kickback, is her whole job, in my opinion. Yep, existence in her field.
And Flux, don't forget, in the Kowalski trial, I believe that they laid out pretty clearly that most of the patients that go under that umbrella and are separated from the parents became patients of Sally Smith's practice. Now, Maya was never discharged while Sally was involved, but yeah, so there's, I mean, the old adage of follow the money is a pretty good rule of thumb.
Ugh, it's terrible, but yeah.
Were injuries that would require a great deal of force, in your opinion?
Yes.
Your record indicates that you were suspicious of the rib fractures for one reason, because they were posterior. Is that correct?
Any rib fracture on an infant is going to be concerning. Any of them, any location. Posterior rib fractures are concerning for location, but anterior, lateral, it doesn't matter. As a whole, they're going to be concerning.
Is one more likely to be indicative of abuse, in your opinion, than the other, posterior or anterior?
I would say that we become more concerned based on our literature.
Not asking you about your literature. Testify about your knowledge, your training, and your experience.
I'm sorry, I thought I could on cross. My mistake.
If I ask you, not asking you about your literature.
Okay. So I will say that any location for a rib fracture is going to be concerning. Posterior rib fractures require more force, but even if they had been anterior or lateral, I would have been concerned.
She's definitely testified numerous times. I mean, the way that
Your record
she
in this case
throws out
indicates,
terms
does it
like,
not, that you were
well,
more
I was allowed to do
concerned
that on direct, or I'm
based
allowed to
upon
do
the
that on
fact that
cross.
these were
She's
posterior
experienced.
fractures?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you put in your record.
Yes.
I've got a book in my hand. It's entitled Child Abuse, Medical Diagnosis and Management. You've got the same book.
I have an autographed copy, in fact.
So I don't need to ask you if this is an authoritative book or periodical in your field, do I?
No, you don't.
You would consent to that. I've got the 4th edition of that.
She's
Which
smug.
edition
I
do
don't
you
like her.
4th edition, yes.
So if you would turn on your
I think
4th
she's just
edition,
blitzed.
please, ma'am, to page 117.
That too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sort of in the middle of the page, doctor, where it says rib fractures.
Yes.
And I think that's all. Well, there's 2 paragraphs on that, under that subheading. But so I'm on the top paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
And it indicates in this, I'll use the phrase textbook for lack of a better phrase. There are studies that have showed that anterior rib fractures are the most common form of rib fractures in abuse, and the predictive value of posterior rib fractures was not consistent. Overall, the specific location of the rib fractures was not directly correlated to the likelihood of abuse. Did I read that correctly?
You did.
Okay. So, contrary then to what you noted in your records, the fact that these were posterior rib fractures in and of themselves does not make it more likely that they were the result of abuse.
So I'm allowed to talk about the literature now?
Sure.
Okay. So if you actually look at this paragraph, you'll notice little numbers by them. These are the references. It's reference 30. So this is a paper by Dr. Kemp that was written in 2010. I have with me, if you'd like to look at it, I can pull it out if you need it, but I can just quote it if you'd prefer. Dr. Kemp wrote this paper. It was called a meta-analysis. A meta-analysis is when you look at multiple papers in the literature throughout time, and you compare them and you see what they say. And he looked at multiple different bones. So when you look at the section of ribs, he does state that location didn't seem to necessarily indicate with posterior rib fractures because he used the word variability in the studies. What he noted in 3 different studies is that one study sustained what we had been believing about posterior rib fractures, but that 2 studies showed this variability. When I looked at the 2 studies individually, one was by Dr. Chadow, which I believe was 2008, and one was by Dr. Bullock, was a little bit earlier. What they had compared was abused
Is variability
children,
the same as
with other
variability?
kinds of more violent accidents.
I think so.
I thought it was just some medical term I didn't know.
Yeah, me too. Variability.
Variability. Well, Megan, your jokes are very variable. What's that supposed to mean?
What does that mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
I don't know.
I'm sitting here going through like my medical thesaurus. It's for parts of it that are still there. And I'm like, what the hell is variability?
We're learning so many new words in this trial.
We learned one squunched.
Squunched. Okay.
The baby was squunched.
Okay.
Squunched the baby, and it caused a spinal fracture, a compression fracture by squunching. I don't know. Is this a medical term you've ever heard of? A squunching fracture?
No, but it's probably a term that I could incorporate into some clinical scenarios.
I know, right? No, we've adopted it.
Babies, yeah.
We like it. Oh yes, and bendy baby. Yeah. Have you ever heard of a bendy baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you bend a baby, isn't that called abuse? I heard that earlier. I was
Something like that.
That's probably not. You know, I got to tell you, I love Liquid Mama's comment. I'm so smart. I'm sitting here. She sounds like the like a Valley girl, a very smug Valley girl. It's like I'm waiting for her to sound. Remember the song "I Like Big Butts"? Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh
my
my God!
Becky.
I'm waiting for her to come out with it. She's got that. Anyway.
Who sent me her Instagram page? We need to show Dr. Joe her in the prom dress in the creek. He needs to see this. Who had that? Was that you, Rosalind?
No, it wasn't me. Mm-mm.
Oh,
no.
All right. I'm going to look for it while we're watching this because her Instagram, Joe, her Instagram is insane.
Oh my.
So
that's the problem is the internet's forever.
Crush injuries, things like that. And in those more violent states, it really didn't matter. But those studies, again, were from 2012 and earlier. There actually have been studies published later than that, 2015. And then I think Dr. Chris published one in 2020, and Dr. Berenson published one in 2021 that do confirm that posterior rib fractures, as we have been noting for a long time, are more difficult to cause.
Oh my God. She took it down, not the whole page, but she took that video of her in the creek down.
Uh-oh. Is she watching?
Oh Oh,
I'm so disappointed, Verena. You know, it is
you
forever.
still have it.
public shaming
I
is
have it.
working.
Yeah, you
I
still
have it. I still have it. The internet is forever because we put it on our live stream the other day. So you can't take it. Oh my God. Verena. She has sanitized her Instagram page. No more walking around in a creek in a prom dress.
Is the scrunchy video still there?
The scrunchy video is still there where she is. Yes, the scrunchy video is still there. We could show that one maybe. Let's see.
Oh.
What in the absolute hell? This this stuff is crazy. Wait, is it still there? Maybe she took it down.
Did she
I'm
take
not
all of them? Not
finding it.
if she went through and just deleted all the ones that we made fun of, I'm gonna be so
Well, this
sad.
one is still there. Her nude is still there. Sexy. Sexy Dr. Verena Brown.
Nah.
She's also she's a sexologist or something also.
She's
That's
a
what
pediatric
you want your
doctor.
pediatrician to focus on, right?
Absolutely.
Look at this. Look at this one.
Oh, do the hair toss. Come on, do the hair toss.
Oh, she does it in the creek one. And oh wait, I think she is. She's gonna do
she
it.
does it here too.
That's right.
Slow-mo.
Slow mo, just the
Yeah. Oh, this is so sus.
It's so cringe.
You
Oh,
think?
Oh
no,
my.
it's not good. No.
Oh my.
What is sentient anatomy, Dr. Joe? Is this a medical term? We don't understand what sentient anatomy means.
I'm not that smart. Wow.
Like, what is this? I haven't even looked at all of this yet. But here's the scrunchie.
No.
So there is a large misconception out there about what a hymen is in a vulva owner's body. Many people think that the hymen is a thin bit of tissue that sits right in front of the vagina and that it breaks or ruptures whenever sex happens for the first time. This is actually not true. So the hymen in most women, of course there's some
Let me take my
variations
hair
as there always
down.
is in medicine, looks something like a hair scrunchie. So it's really stretchy and it can stretch to fit tampons, penises, objects, things like that.
No.
And in most women, the hymen is open from the time that you're born.
Wait, did she just say object?
So there is no such thing as a thin film. Nothing gets popped or broken. Yes, there are some women that are born with congenital anomalies called imperfect.
That's enough. That's enough internet for the day.
I have to go lay down.
I think she took the one off of her in the creek, and I'm so upset. I will have to go back and find it because it was so funny. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my whole life.
Oh, Jennifer says she thinks it was TikTok.
Yeah.
I found it on Instagram.
Oh.
I didn't know she had a TikTok.
I think she sent you a link last time and you just pulled
Jennifer,
up the
does
link.
she have a TikTok page? You need to send me her TikTok link. Jen, send it to me if you can. All right, here we go.
When was that book published?
This was for the date here.
Diana says, I'm throwing out my scrunchies.
Third edition was 2009.
My scrunchie.
I thought you were
Matched
reading.
scrunchies.
I thought you were
If I
reading
told you
Ray
2020
Bay.
was
She girl bob close to the sun.
Yeah.
Copyright 2020 by American Academy of Pediatrics.
All right.
And-
So according to the authors of that textbook in 2020, the lesson they want to impart upon students who read that textbook, those aspiring pediatricians who want a specialty in child abuse, is that the location of rib fractures is not predictive of whether or not child abuse has occurred.
I think we can argue that in additions of books with minor points of, well, I'm not saying minor points, but with points like that, they may or may not have updated on the literature that had just come out that year, right? Because if you look at Chris's study, it also had come out in 2020, and the next study had come out in 2021. So I'm not sure if it's fair to call that out, first of all. Second of all, the other part of it is that even if Jameson had had anterior or lateral rib fractures, I would still have called it.
It's just that you noted in your records that the fact that they were posterior in your mind, it made it more likely that they were abuse.
Sure. And so we have a study from 2020, the same year that this was published, and a study from 2021.
Wait just a minute. Wait just a minute.
Michael?
She does have the right to explain.
Well, she can answer the question first.
Well, he has the right to finish his question before she starts answering. So finish your question, Mr. Hood, and then you can answer his question.
The question is this. The authors of the textbook that teach aspiring folks in your field reached the conclusion that they reached on page 117.
Again.
Yes or no?
Yes, but based on 2 studies on accidental injuries that called things
Why are her eyes
variable
closed?
from a study in 2012.
What
You
was
have to read the
that?
fine print. And
She's blocking him out. If I can't see you, you can't see me. She just blocked him out and said, like, no.
That she answered the first part of that question completely closed-eyed.
Page 117.
again,
Yes or no?
yes, but based on 2 studies on accidental injuries that called things variable from a study in 2012. You have to read the fine print. And those things were updated the same year that this came out and then the following year. So at some point, you have to stay updated because now it's 2025.
Regarding the rib fractures, you gave the analogy of
oh, that face.
Younger twig or stick versus older stick. Did I hear that correctly?
You did.
Takes more force on the younger stick, the green stick, to bend it and break it.
Yes.
Jameson did not report with any chest wall injuries. Is that correct?
That's right.
Any abdominal injuries?
No.
Any injuries to his back?
Well, I mean, he had the fracture of T10.
Get to that
Or
in a minute.
11. We're not sure which because
Any
neither
other
are
injuries
they.
to his back?
He had that little bruise, which, you know, it's hard to say.
Nothing on the outside of his torso
No.
indicated that he had been subjected to any great amount of physical trauma. Is that correct?
That's right. And that is actually a very typical thing. So when you look at Peter's 2010, and she talks about fractures and bruising, and there are other.
Dr. Brown.
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't ask me about literature.
I hate this woman.
Yeah.
I hate her.
Supposedly, she's an expert witness, but she keeps having, you missed Joe last week. The judge had to seriously reprimand her because she continued to not answer the questions as she was asked. And I mean, this woman, she claims she's been an expert witness multiple times and doesn't know to just answer the question. It's hard to believe, but she keeps doing it. She just keeps on doing it.
The fracture at T10.
Yes.
Well, she's smarter than everybody.
That's
right.
As I understand it, it would be
happens.
Dr. Dixon who was responsible for the review of those images. And that's with whom you consulted regarding those images. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Would you agree with me in your records indicate that regarding that fracture, the language that she used was that whatever she saw on the image suggests a fracture
Yes.
of T10. She did not say, in relation to ribs, that what she saw on the image suggests healing fractures of the ribs. She said the ribs were fractured.
Yes.
Okay. Do you agree with me that that's the verbiage that she used at that time?
Yes.
And you consulted with her about that?
Yes.
When is the last time that you spoke either with her or with any other doctor related to this matter?
I spoke with her maybe 2 weeks ago.
In preparation for testimony today?
Yes.
Did y'all discuss this case?
We did.
Did you discuss items other than what you guys were going to wear to court?
Yes, of course.
Okay. If her recollection was different than that,
Did he really ask that?
Well, that's because that's what.
I'm sorry. What?
That's what the last woman said they talked about.
No way.
Right?
Way.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Way.
Oh my.
No way.
Oh my.
Who is he? Who is he referring to? I missed. Who is he asking if she talked to? Was it the attorney or the other doctor? Do we know? Oh, I forgot to turn on captions. That could help. Let's go back and see who he was asking about. When was the last? Here it is. When was the?
You spoke either with her or with any other doctor.
Who's her?
And you consulted with her about it.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, Dr. Dixon.
Dixon.
Dr. Dixon, who talks like this.
Oh,
right
I
before
forgot
she
about her.
Right before she stabs you right in the neck. Like she is unbelievable. She's Timu Sally Field in. She is unbelievable with hair like a football helmet. Shelby, drink your juice, Shelby. She is. That was okay. Dr. Dixon is the pediatric radiologist. And yeah, when she was asked what she spoke about with Dr. Brown before this hearing, she said, "Oh, we talked about what we were going to wear to court." Yeah, sure. That's why he's asking that. Did you talk about anything else besides what you were going to wear?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Thanks for the background.
The last time that you spoke either with her or with any other doctor related to this matter?
I spoke with her maybe 2 weeks ago.
In preparation for testimony today?
Yes.
Did y'all discuss this case?
We did.
Did you discuss items other than what you guys were going to wear to court?
Yes, of course.
Okay. If her recollection was different than that, does that surprise you?
Oh.
I'm sorry. What?
If her recall of that conversation was that the sole limited purpose of y'all's discussion was to discuss what she was going to wear to court today, would that surprise you?
Got him.
I mean, we did discuss that, but we went over some images, not necessarily
really
what was going to be said, but we went over images. Yes.
Does impeach have one E or two E's?
Did the word suggest come up during that conversation?
I don't think so.
Oh, this looks so bad.
I liked her
Come up
facial
during that
expression here.
I've got my
We did
blanket.
discuss
I feel
that,
like I
but-
need to hide behind it.
Would that surprise you?
Her face.
I mean, we did discuss.
To wear to court today, would that surprise you?
I mean, we did discuss that, but we went over some images, not necessarily what was going to be said. But we went.
Would that surprise
Before
you?
this.
Was to discuss what she was going to wear to court today. Would that surprise you?
I mean, we did discuss.
The purpose.
No,
sorry,
it's
what?
before here. Here it
Does
is.
that surprise you?
I'm sorry. What?
What?
If her recall of that conversation was that the
Wait,
sole-
what?
Sorry, what?
This was
Wait,
a
what?
real
What?
moment.
Brain buffering in real time.
Yep.
Did the word suggest come up during that conversation?
I don't think so.
At some point after your consultation with, I'm presuming Dr. Dixon, you met with both the parents, Brady and Carrie Timms, in their hospital room. And I think if I recall, the child was present in the room at that time. Is that right?
Yes.
And you discussed with them the images and the report that had been made to you regarding those images. Is that true?
That's right.
And you indicated during that conversation that essentially
Sex scandal face.
interpreting radiographic images was
it?
Essentially
She doesn't
interpreting the conversation.
She doesn't turn her
that,
lips down.
She
just got very flat lips. So I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta say we need the downturned mouth.
Right.
We need to have the exact right expression. We're not quite there yet.
Essentially, interpreting radiographic images was not your cup of tea. It was not your specialty.
That's right. I did.
In fact, you indicated at least a couple of times during that conversation, you couldn't even see what they were talking about regarding T10 because vertebral fractures are very hard to see.
Yes, if I remember correctly, what I was saying is that the T10 fracture was very difficult for me to see, that I'm not a pediatric radiologist, which is true. And I didn't want them to, I thought that was the one that it was, but I didn't want them to take my word for it because I didn't want to be telling them the incorrect thing.
And later on in that conversation, you indicated to them, and I think there was another lady that was present with you. Was that the DFACS liaison during that conversation?
Yes. Yes.
You indicated to the parents that you wanted to see what was going on here. Blood work had been taken. It was going to be sent off for testing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I'm not going to quote you, but I'll probably get pretty close. And you kind of said, well, the thing that stinks about that is it takes a couple of months to get the results back.
That's right.
All right. So how many hours later were these two folks escorted from this hospital by a security guard and told they could not see their child? And, well, let me stop there. How many hours later?
I'm not sure how many hours later, but I believe it was the same day.
I told you about 2 hours later. Does that sound about right?
I really am not sure, but it certainly could be.
Had the blood work that y'all took to send off to see what was going on even been placed in the mail at that point?
For OI, it had been taken, but probably not sent, no.
Okay, probably not sent. We're going to take a moment here because I have found, thank you, Jennifer, for sending this, the TikTok. We are in a creek. We are in a prom dress. We are walking around in a creek in a prom dress. Yep. Yes, we are. And let me tell you something, folks. If the or the GoFundMe for Brady and Carrie Timms hits the goal, which, by the way, is linked in the description of these videos on both YouTube and Rumble, I will put on a prom dress and waltz through a stream. I will video it. Mo will do it too. I think Flux will do it if she can find a stream or a pond. Rosalind,
yeah.
you're also
I would
required.
I would be happy to do that.
We will gallivant through wearing a thrift store prom dress.
Mm-hmm.
If you all go to the GoFundMe, let's hit that goal for the Timms family to repair the damage done by the state. And we will make a video like this for you. In fact, Rosalind, you know, we should consider bringing a prom or going to Goodwill in San Francisco and find a stream there, or maybe the beach. We'll just wander around in the water,
roll around in the sand
in preparation for this.
Oh, see, I already have a plan. At the beginning of October, I'm in a wedding. So once the wedding's done, I'm gonna, and it's in like a wooded setting.
Perfect.
I'm gonna be in my bridesmaid.
You better
dress
have your
and I'm
hair
gonna-
down. You better have your hair down. You better do it.
Can we ask
I was
Dr.
gonna
Joe
wear
what
it up
is
for the
sentient
wedding.
anatomy?
I did. I asked him about
I'll ask
sentient
Dr.
anatomy.
Google. I have no freaking clue.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to figure out what her quotes are saying, right? Once I let go of my past, I can be whoever I want to be.
Right?
I'm nuts.
Well, she's a
it's-
life
Just a
coach
weirdo
too.
who
She's
walks
also a
around
life
in a
coach.
creek.
So here's the scary part, guys. The Timms are sitting at a table with lawyers who are trying to keep them out of jail, right? And trying to keep their family together. And this is the expert who can undo everything, right?
Yep.
It's a little, yeah, I mean, it's really, really scary.
It's horrifying.
It's
Yeah.
terrifying. Yeah.
Sentient means able to perceive or feel things.
Your
I'm not
body
that
is
deep.
able to
I did-
sense and feel things.
Who knew?
She learned that in med school.
This is my favorite part. This is my favorite part. The arm up on the head. That's my favorite part of this stream video. Is this literally?
I got to be
like,
honest with you. I'm not going to look at hair scrunchies the same.
I know everyone in chat is throwing their scrunchies away. Jennifer Williams says she'll get in the creek too. Jen says she'll do it too.
Oh my
All right,
God. This
we
is
gotta-
like this is on the Wikipedia page under cringe, right? I mean, that's like the definition
It should
of cringe.
be. It should be.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Can we reuse her audio? I mean, or can we make up our own?
We'll have to, yeah. We'll make some Instagram videos.
Remix it.
You know what? Let's put us all into this one. Wouldn't that be funny if you're all like splashing around next to her? I don't know how to do that exactly, but maybe we need to film ourselves on a green screen so we can put ourselves into this particular video.
That's true.
Yes, we can make it happen.
I mean, I'll tell you what. This is one of the. Can you imagine Sally Smith? Wouldn't it have been funny if Sally Smith had a video like this?
God forbid.
No, it would not be funny at
No.
all.
I mean, it's like you can't unsee some things, right? And this is going to haunt me. Sally Smith would just end me.
Oh no.
Oof.
So bad.
You participated in a conference call if I'm reading your record correctly, on January the 14th at 2022 at approximately 2:50 p.m., or at least that's what your notes indicate. Present on that call was yourself and Ann Ray. Is that the DFACS liaison?
Yes.
Dr. Fleming,
Yes.
Detective Faulkner,
I don't remember the name of the detective.
but a detective.
Yes.
RN Katie,
I don't remember the name of the RN, but an RN.
Lori Stanfield from DFACS,
Yes.
Heather Gates from DFACS.
Yes.
The record indicates that lab work was going to be obtained to rule out a bleeding disorder on bone health issues. And then it says DFACS was advised to take action.
She's the human embodiment of live,
Fletcher.
laugh, love. Oh man, this woman.
In regards to planning for patient safety. Is that accurate?
If that is a DFACS note, I'm not sure what they would have written, but certainly in these cases, we do recommend safety of the child. Now, what that means from a DFACS perspective, we don't know. We're mandated reporters, and then DFACS has to make that decision. One of the things per protocols is that we know that child abuse cases, happen about
Judge,
600,000 a
I would
year.
object at this
Wait
point.
just a minute.
It's just completely non-responsive. She answered my question. I would object. I'm not asking about her protocols.
I'm going to sustain that objection. Please listen to the question as asked by Mr. Hood and answer that question. And Mr. Hood, you can rephrase your question.
Is that evasive answers?
Oh, yes. Evasive answers on the bingo card for sure. And notice how the judge has to step in again, which is funny. The judge is always having to tell her. JDK Buck says, live, laugh, love. More like Ambien, Valium, and I would say personality disorder.
Did you or any other medical professional, to your knowledge, at CHOA advise DFACS to take custody of this child?
No.
Any record that indicates that you did is mistaken?
Yes.
The blood work was sent off and results came back with a variant at the COL1A2 area.
Yes.
On the genes, is that correct?
Yes.
That is a site, I believe, that where collagen is produced.
Yes.
Collagen is sort of the building block, the fiber of our system. Is that correct? Bones, blood vessels, arteries, ligaments, tendons.
You can say it that way, yes.
A problem with collagen production could cause trouble for any or all of those systems. Is that right?
Yes.
Right. The variation that came back was determined to be a variation of either, I see it both ways. Some call it uncertain significance, some call it unknown significance, but VUS is the nomenclature that's used.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
All right. So may be significant. It may have no significance. Right?
Technically, that is true.
All right.
She went to sleep again.
It's Schrodinger's
Doctor,
variant.
I'm over here. Stay with us, doctor.
If you went home today and you pulled up an email or read an article or a book and it said this particular variant, more research has been done, more time has passed, it's now pathogenic, connective tissue disorder. Would that change your outlook on this case?
Look at her. She's like holding her head.
It would not, because as we mentioned before, the purpose of talking to genetics, as we did, was to see if this was going to be at all at risk for becoming pathogenic. In addition,
understand my question. Hold on a second.
It's very difficult so that the jury understands.
Well, wait just a minute.
Shut
up. She has a right to explain the answer. He's cut her off twice. I didn't object to her time. She has a right to explain.
Yeah, but she's talking about stupid shit.
She's not answering the questions directly.
Again, I'm asked, ladies and gentlemen, the jury to step to the jury room just a moment.
Oh, boy.
Ms. Fox, what's your objection?
Here we go.
My objection is the witness does have the right to explain her answer, and the fashion in which she was doing it was perfectly appropriate. She was not citing literature. She was listing the reasons that she would not change her opinion, and that is something she's entitled to explain. The fact that he doesn't like her answer is not a reason to cut her off.
We need to tell Dr. Joe if he's probably confused why this woman is wearing a cape.
Is this your caped crusader?
Yes, the caped crusader.
This is
Yeah.
Prosecutor Fox, no relation to me, who has Disney hair and wears a witch cape in the courtroom.
It looks more like a poncho and a, I don't know if I'm old enough to remember the Treasure of the Sierra Madre. We don't need no stinking badges.
I mean, it could be a poncho. I
think it looks like a tablecloth.
Because particularly it looks really good when you add like a witch's hat. And let's see.
Here we go.
Let's see. I think I'm going to make it purple
You
today.
knew it was coming. Come on.
So we need this. Let's see. So when you add a little hat here, like it's got a real Halloween flair, and then particularly also when you get a broom with this. Here we go. See, we have. I mean, it's perfect.
Megan, I am so glad you didn't have these toys available to you when the Kowalski trial was taking place 2 years ago.
I know, right? I'm very
Imagine what you would have
sad.
done to me.
I wouldn't have done anything to you, but Ethan Shapiro would be in trouble. I can tell you that much for sure. Look, see, doesn't that look perfect? I mean, she's
Happy
clearly a
Halloween.
witch.
I mean, boom.
She's a witch, and obviously, and there's just
So she
nothing
floats.
to be said about it. She floats.
She didn't violate any of the guidelines the court laid out. She hasn't violated any other rules. She was explaining why she would not change her opinion.
Thank you, Ms. Fox. Mr. Hood, what is your objection?
Judge, the problem is, she's an expert, so I get to ask her a hypothetical question. She has to answer the question with the assumption that I have put in place. She can't change the assumption and basically avoid answering the question, which is exactly what she was in the process of attempting to do.
Look how
So-
shaking her head.
I'm going to
this
say
hoe.
this, and this has been a continuing problem during this testimony this afternoon. It's very important that the witness listen to the question. And yes, the witness is entitled to explain their answer. But what I can't have is two people talking at the same time, because the court reporter can't take that down. And you can't talk over each other. Again, you can't talk at the same time. Also, I think it's very important to remember we can't just have these monologue answers. I mean, this witness is an expert, and I'm going to concur with Mr. Hood's objection in that he's entitled to present a hypothetical. She has to answer the question as presented, and then she can explain her answer after that. But she can't change the question.
I beg to differ, because she did answer it. She said she would not change her opinion and was in the process of explaining why she would not change it. That's a direct answer to his hypothetical. I would not, because she's entitled to say why.
Well, well, wait a minute. I haven't heard Ms. Bernard. You get the floor for a minute as well.
The presumption in my question, the underlying assumption in my question was that the variant was deemed to be pathogenic. She began her answer after she said no by saying, I've reached out to our geneticist and it's not likely to be pathogenic. Completely avoids the hypothetical that I gave.
I understand. I understand your objection, Ms. Bernard.
Thank you, Your Honor. And that was what our concern was on Ms. Timms' behalf, is that this person who has been put forward as an expert was in fact not answering the hypothetical question and was changing the facts to suit the answer that she wanted to give.
Well, I feel courts will say this to all the, and I know we've got a lot of experts to come here in the coming days as we go forward. You know, we've already listened to 3 expert witnesses today.
Oh, she's coming down.
They rendered their opinions based upon review of their records and the questions that were presented here. This afternoon, it has been a continuing struggle to listen to the questions. And I mean, I will find this witness continues to, it's like we've got an answer we want to get out there, and we're going to get that answer out there, whether or not that question is asked or not. So again, I'm going to instruct the witness to listen to the question that's asked. And then if you want to redirect her on another issue in that regard, Ms. Fox, then she can answer your question in that regard. But she's got to answer the question that's asked by Mr. Hood or by Ms. Bernard or whomever on cross. You can redirect her.
And frankly, saying, if he says, what if, and he's giving her a hypothetical, what if it's pathogenic? Then you should answer the question, would it change your opinion? And she should say yes. Yes. But instead she's like, well, it isn't. Well, it wasn't. That's not the question. The question is, if it was, would it change your opinion? She's just determined to say no.
You have a different hypothetical that you want to pose to her as well. But I'm going to instruct the witness to answer the question. So bring the jury back in.
I think we can
Mr.
safely.
Hood, you can ask your question, sir.
I think we can safely check off judge gets annoyed on the bingo card.
Okay, Dr. Brown, let me ask my question again. I want you to assume the following facts to be true. You gain knowledge somehow that the variant of unknown or uncertain significance that we have been discussing the past few moments changes from unknown significance to pathogenic at some point in the future. Does that change your opinion about this case?
No, because this variant won't change.
And you can say that with absolute certainty.
Yes.
What?
All right. Thank you, ma'am. That's all I have, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Hood. Ms. Bernard, do you have questions?
Good afternoon, Dr. Brown.
Good afternoon.
Okay. How long have you been working at
Joe, this is Carrie's attorney. The other one was Brady's attorney.
Children's Healthcare of Atlanta?
Approximately 9 years.
Okay. And were you working at any other hospitals before that?
Yes, Vanderbilt Children's Hospital.
Okay. And that was where you began working after you completed your residency and fellowships?
Yes.
Please ask her about lawsuits that she's been involved in. How many times have you been sued, Verena Brown, for falsely
And in the course
alleging
of
abuse?
working at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, as I believe has previously been discussed, you do have significant interactions with the Department of Family and Children's Services, correct?
Yes, we do.
And you mentioned that you have a number of DFACS liaisons who you work with at the hospital.
Yes, there are 4.
Okay. What kind of contact do you find yourself having with these DFACS liaisons in the typical case?
In a typical case, they will come and be with us. The purpose is because a lot of times by the time we are called, DFACS has already been called either from the emergency department or from another hospital. So they are there to help answer any questions to the parents that the parents might have. This is true for both cases that are deemed abuse versus cases that are deemed accidental. Because a lot of times, even in cases that are deemed accidental, DFACS has already been called from somewhere else, and the parents are, distraught about that. So our DFACS liaisons can help through that process to make sure the parents know that we're calling it an accident and they don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Do they have any other roles beyond speaking to parents and conveying information regarding diagnoses that you and your colleagues may have made?
They help coordinate meetings. They help. One of the liaisons doesn't do consults as much with us. She takes care of more ongoing cases, chronic children, things of that nature, and those kinds of placements. Various administrative stuff within DFACS, roles that I don't know what they do within DFACS.
So does the DFACS liaison contact you in regard to a particular case, or do you contact the DFACS liaison?
The consult comes from the hospital, and then I'll contact the DFACS liaison and let them know that we have a case to see.
So in this instance of the case with Jameson Timms, at what point did you receive the consult for Jameson Timms?
Sometime on the 14th.
Okay.
I don't remember what time.
Do you know approximately what time?
In the morning, but I don't remember what time.
Okay. And if the skeletal survey was completed after 10 o'clock, would you agree that, did you get the consult before or after the skeletal survey had been completed?
I honestly don't remember. The only thing I can tell you for a fact is that by the time I saw Jameson, the skeletal survey was done.
But by the time that you saw Jameson, you had already pretty much decided this was a child abuse case, right?
No.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about what you had concluded at that point.
Well, we knew that he had fractures, and we knew that he had the injury to his mouth, and I didn't really know what the face was going to look like. The thing is, you really don't know what you're going to get when you walk into the room. Sometimes parents have weird things that happened, very interesting accidents that happen. Sometimes we do find medical conditions that look like abuse to people that are not trained. And so it's very important that when we walk into a room, we walk fresh. Now, I knew that there was serious concerns because of previous conversations that I had mentioned. But you have to walk in there with fresh eyes. And this is one of the reasons that even though a case might look like it's abuse because the other conditions are rare, we still do the testing.
Quick question.
Uh-huh.
Didn't she say she got a heads up from somebody else before he came in that it was possible abuse?
Yeah. Yeah, she's
So
not
what
going
is
in
this?
with
Oh,
fresh
you want
eyes.
to go in there with fresh eyes.
She's not. Yeah, she's like, I knew there were
No.
serious concerns of abuse. So you're not going in there with fresh eyes. You're not.
But-
No.
Right.
Conflicting
But in her
testimony.
defense, she did say because of prior conversations, right? So
What do
she at least acknowledged it, but does seem
that she had prior conversations that were, But I mean, it's not like you're getting a completely unbiased third party opinion. You're getting someone who's already been told you're looking for abuse. So it's already, this is not a good second opinion in any way because she's already looking for it. By the way, there are almost 700 of you here right now. It's so exciting that you're all here. This is the biggest audience we've had for this trial so far. And I'm really happy that the word is spreading. This is a great trial for us to watch. Carrie and Brady Timms have been horrifically mistreated by the state. They have been found innocent of all these horrible charges. And we now have the footage to the case. And so we are watching it, and it's a good one. By the way, I want to make sure that I hit those of you who sent super chats because I do appreciate all the help given to the show. And it does go to support my ability to do this and sit here for a few hours with you every day and do this. And I appreciate it. Slug Entertainment, thanks for the 5, says, Doctor, can you explain why Megan is 4'8" instead of a normal height? Joe, don't ignore Slug completely. We all ignore him. Do not
Everybody
engage.
else does.
Just I am not 4'8" for the last time, Slug. Mel Klom, thanks for the 5. Thank you all for today. Megan, your hair looks good today. Rosalind is awesome. Respect to all here.
Thanks, Mel.
Thank you. My hair, I've had a particularly difficult weekend with all the hairstyling and the heat styling, and my hair was feeling really dry. So last night I did a deep conditioning treatment with like a hot cap and everything. And then I decided I better just leave it in. I'm going to leave the conditioner in and just braid it. Then I slept on it. I woke up this morning. I was like, just going to leave it for another couple days, probably. It's feeling better though. It's already feeling better. So
Megan, I want to, when I start hearing conversations about deep hair conditioning, I kind of feel like I'm getting Dr. Brown eyes. You're losing me.
Yeah.
I'm walking through a creek. I'm taking my hair scrunchie out. Sorry, I just went to my happy place.
Listen, if you put on a prom dress and get in a creek, I think
then shoot me. Just shoot me if I do that.
Wanda C became a YouTube member. Welcome to the Fox Den. It's weird here, but you'll get used to it. And if you don't, make sure to send me a Rage Quitty email so I can read it and laugh.
Yes, please.
Puzzled Puzzler, thanks for the 5. Her smugness disappeared when caught about what to wear. Yeah, it sure did. She was like, what? What now? me make sure there's nothing on super tips. Okay, super tips is good. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, everybody, because there's tons of you here. So might as well show up. And by the way, this is your roll call for those of you lurkers. If you're lurking and you're not chatting, YouTube has decided not to count your views. So all you have to do is just punch into the chat. This is your roll call. Just let me know you're here. Any character, an exclamation point, anything, any one word, squunched, whatever it is, just let us know if you're lurking that you're here so that the algorithm will count you, because YouTube is asshole.
What was the new word we learned today? Variable?
Variable?
Variable. Put a variable in chat.
Yeah. And sentient.
Sentient.
Yeah.
Atomic.
And hey, Megan, before you go, got to do a shameless plug. I have restarted my YouTube channel, so I'd love to have some folks back over. Working toward resuming live streams. Those were really my favorite because of this interaction that you guys have going on. I mean, you really opened my world to this. So right now, just doing some pre-recorded stuff, but love to have people join at CMO Dr. Joe.
Yeah, at CMO Dr. Joe. Make sure you get over there and subscribe to Dr. Joe. He has some very interesting topics that he talks about, and especially those of you with, and I know there are tons of you out there with questions about the state of our medical industry, right? There's a lot of questions about what's the relationship between doctors and patients and what should it be? And I know that Dr. Joe spends a lot of time talking about that, and he's very good at responding to people with questions. And so make sure you get over there and you have your notifications turned on for CMO. Is it CMO Joe or CMO Doctor?
CMO Dr. Joe, Dr. Joe. Yeah.
Dr. Joe. Mod, drop the link to his channel in the chat. I would appreciate that.
I would too. Thank you, Megan.
You're welcome.
How many times did you meet with Jameson Timms and his mother and father, Carrie and Brady Timms?
His mom and dad, that one time.
Okay. So if I'm understanding this correctly, on the morning of January 14th, you received information about the case, went to meet with Jameson and Carrie and Brady, and then approximately 2 hours later was when they were escorted out of the hospital and custody had been seized of Jameson, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
But you had not made up your mind that it was a child abuse situation prior to that conversation?
That's right. The thing about it is, even though we do have a DFACS liaison, it is not our job to do the investigation or make decisions on custody. Now, we can say to DFACS, we're concerned about abuse. There are these tests pending, but these conditions are rare because, abuse happens 600,000 times a year. OI is 1 out of 50,000. Ehlers-Danlos is 1 out of 10,000, right? So child abuse is way, 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 way more frequent than these other entities. And you have parents with a history that really don't speak to genetic disorders in a healthy baby, right? So what we have to say to DFACS is, we have a baby with these injuries. I have really high concerns, but we're doing these tests. At that point, it's not my decision what they're going to do. Now, do I say, I think this baby needs to be in a safe environment? Yes. But that can be different things at different counties of DFACS. That could be, having somebody in the home, like a grandparent, while the parents are still there. That could, in certain cases, that can mean removal. That's the extreme. That's not my decision.
So
But
what
you
is
sure
your
influence
decision then? What was the decision-making role that you had in the case of Jameson Timms?
Medical is to look at the case and say, am I concerned for child abuse or not?
And when did you make the determination that you were concerned about child abuse?
I was concerned right away after talking to them and looking at the injuries.
Okay.
Now, is there a possibility that something else could have happened? That's why we did the test. Was that possibility very small? Yes, it was very small.
Okay. Well, but I believe we just established that the decision to remove Jameson was made well before any of the tests had even been sent off. So it is certainly, you obviously made the determination that you believed it to be a medical diagnosis of child abuse well before the test results were sent off, right?
So if you look at my original preliminary note, because there's two notes in the chart. There's a preliminary note that's very short, and then there's my final consultation note. The preliminary note, the wording that I said, I believe, was, at this time, this case is most consistent with child physical abuse. It was only 4 days later that I signed my official note, and that we had at least all the bleeding lab work and at least all of the bony labs, calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, PTH, right? We didn't have OI yet, but again, OI is very rare. When you look at mandated reporting laws, by law, I am mandated to report when I'm concerned about abuse, period. In fact, I was actually another one that had called DFACS, right? It was his PCP, because she was concerned about abuse in this case. And so for me, rendering the opinion that, yes, I'm very concerned about abuse was going to be important as a mandated reporter. And in these cases.
That is not the question you were asked. The question you were asked was, you made your mind up before any of the tests were done, didn't you, doctor? And the answer to that is yes. And she just admitted it, because they said, well, when did you think it was abuse? Well, I was concerned immediately. So she made up her mind immediately. Why does she have such a hard time saying it? Why does she have such a hard time just being like, yes? Because we all know she did.
Because child abuse is so much more frequent than these illnesses. It's DFACS, Georgia, has to make a decision about what they're going to do. Do they wait the 2 months?
Yes.
For the results to come back?
They should.
Without the child?
Or do they rip the family apart based on partial information?
Yeah, and we know the answer to that. And by the way, they could have put her with, they could have put him, the baby, with grandparents. And then they could have waited the 2 months, right? In the care of the grandparents. That takes care of all the issues, but they didn't. Joe, they put this baby with foster care. They didn't even put the baby with grandparents who were available and willing to take him. How dare they? It's just unbelievable, the kinds of decisions that they make. And it's always on the side of ripping a family apart. Always.
You know, I have a friend, we call him NMG, no middle gear. The guy is either sober or really not sober, right? Oh. And my problem is, you know, this was in my younger single day past, but my problem with the system is that they go from 0 to 60 with no middle gear, right? I mean,
right.
Megan, I think I talked with you months ago. One of our friends' sisters had high blood pressure during her labor, preeclampsia. They gave her labetalol, which is a cardiac drug that lowers blood pressure. A known side effect of using labetalol, which is an appropriate drug to use for lowering blood pressure, and in fact, it's on the recommended list by the American College of OBGYNs. A known side effect of labetalol is that it causes false positive drug testing for methamphetamine, right? One of the metabolites can fool the screening test and make it seem like there's meth in the blood system, in the mom's blood system. There's a diagnostic test that confirms or rules out, but they will separate the parents and the family from the baby based on a screening test rather than waiting 2 or 3 days until the diagnostic test is back. And
that's crazy.
You know, yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. And it's a known cause and effect. And yet the system just moves so fast. And listen, I am not going to, and this was interesting. During the Kowalski trial, we never disparaged, never even questioned the whole responsibility chain of being a mandatory reporter. What she just said recently about I'm a mandatory reporter, and then she talked about the PCP being the one that filed the concern. Well, the PCP is a mandatory reporter also, but she didn't bother to share that, right? She was mandated. I was a mandatory reporter. If I had a patient who came to me and, I had a concern about sexual abuse or physical abuse or emotional abuse, I was mandated to report. And that's a good thing because so many people in abusive situations don't have a path out, and we can help with that. But again, there's this no middle gear of the way that too many of these regional local systems function that just blow families apart in a time when we really need to do everything we can to keep families together.
Yeah, and in this case too, the baby was in the hospital, and so the baby was being monitored by hospital staff. There was no reason to remove mom and dad from the room or the hospital. None at all. What were they? They were going to physically abuse an infant in the middle of the hospital? Why? There's no way. That would not happen. They were being supervised, but they removed them anyway with police.
Why did they have
causing
to
all that trauma?
Yeah, why did they have to separate Maya from her family and her priest? Right.
I mean, and Jack wasn't even accused of anything, and Jack wasn't allowed to be there except for in particular time periods for that visitation, supervised visitation, and that's silly. That's ridiculous. There were no charges against him, no allegation that he ever abused her or did anything to her. He should have been allowed to be in that room. They should never have taken custody from him. If they wanted to remove Beata for a while to see what was happening, well, maybe. But they didn't have to take her away from Jack. So, they just do these things and it feels malicious.
And that potentially is dangerous if the child is being truly abused? Or do they put some sort of contingency plan in? Generally, they're going to do something kind of a contingency plan because 2 months is a long time. We do see babies come back all the time with more injuries. Sometimes we see babies come back dead. And that's very problematic. Now, it's going to be dependent on the county, what they're going to do. Like I said, sometimes they put safety placements like a grandparent or a friend in the home. Sometimes they remove the child, and that's not CHOA to decide.
Let me interrupt you right there. Was there a question, Ms. Bernard? Is this in response to a question?
I believe so, but I'll certainly move along to the next one, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay. I am trying to pin down exactly when you conveyed to anyone from DFACS that you believed this was a case of child abuse.
So we did have a conversation. I don't know when we had that conversation. It was certainly not 2 hours later.
Okay. So was it prior to the 2 hours later, prior to the parents being escorted out of the hospital while y'all kept the baby?
No.
So let me see if I can understand this. Prior to Jameson being kept by DFACS in Children's Hospital of Atlanta, you had not made the determination that there was child abuse?
So I think this is where it's confusing.
What was that?
I'm definitely confused.
You're right. That's what I'm trying to explain.
That wasn't a smile. That was a teeth bare. It was a baring of the teeth.
So I make the medical determination. It is child physical abuse is a medical diagnosis in the ICD-10. It is not a social diagnosis. Okay. The DFACS and all of that stuff is a separate entity from me. Yes, we have a DFACS liaison because our cases obviously intertwine. By the time I see Jameson, DFACS had already been called by his primary care physician. Wheels had already been turning, right? I believe actually that DFACS had already been in the hospital with police maybe the night before on the 13th, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that. You'd have to check the record. But that train had been moving. So yes, at some point I had talked to DFACS, but it was after the fact.
Okay, well, and thank you, and I appreciate that analogy of the train moving. And so what I suppose I'm trying to figure out is what your role was on this train. And you mentioned child physical abuse is a medical diagnosis. At what point did you make that medical diagnosis of Jameson Timms?
My official diagnosis was made on the 18th when I signed my final note.
Okay. So up until January 18th, you had not made a medical diagnosis of child abuse of Jameson Timms.
Not officially. Now, I had very high concerns.
Okay, so let's talk about what not officially means. Does that mean you were just telling other people in the hospital, this baby is being abused, you'd better take him away from the parents?
No. We say we have high concerns for abuse. We still have some lab work pending for bleeding stuff.
Okay, so let me understand. So you were saying we have high concerns for abuse, but that is not a medical diagnosis. At what point did you say we have high concerns of abuse?
High concerns right now.
The high concerns for abuse.
How high?
After I talked to him or talked to the parents right
I
away.
know how
Puff,
high.
puff, pass high.
Puff, puff, pass high. Yeah, and by the way, speaking of high, JKD Buck just put this meme on Twitter. I got to log into my Twitter account because I just saw it on my phone. I got to share this with you guys. This is freaking hilarious.
Somebody please capture that. Please, the demon is trying to escape again.
Oh, the demon is trying to get out. Look, everyone.
Screen grab time.
All right, here we go. JKD Buck, thanks so much for this. This is fantastic. How high was it, doctor? How high? How high were your concerns?
That's awesome.
Dude.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my God, look at this face. Look at this face. I have to screen grab this. This is really something. That is, are the demons trying to escape or take over?
The heebie-jeebies.
Good Lord. I have to add that I gotta add that new meme to the board here so I can pull that up whenever I want to, because that's hilarious.
My official consultation that was signed that said, yes, this is what we believe it is, was signed on the 18th.
Okay. So who did you communicate to regarding your high concerns of abuse?
Typically, we will speak to the hospital social worker. And of course, the liaison that is there with us. Hospital social work and the liaison will speak to DFACS and law enforcement and keep updated on, the condition of the child and what's happening at the bedside.
So did you communicate your high concerns of abuse to social
Very
worker
high.
Jody Ann Mosolo?
Yes.
Very high
Were there
concerns.
any other social workers you communicated that concern to?
I think it was just Jody, but I don't remember.
Okay. And you communicated this to DFACS liaison, was it Heather Gates?
So no, the DFACS liaison is Ann Ray, but she was in the room with me. She was the one that did the consult with me.
Okay, so you communicated your high concerns for abuse to Jody Ann Mosolo, to Ann Ray. Who else did you communicate them to?
At some point, and again, I don't remember when this meeting was, we had a meeting with DFACS.
Who from DFACS?
I believe you mentioned Heather. Law enforcement, so detective, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the names of who was on the phone call. Hospital social worker, so Jody was on that phone call. Dr. Fleming, the bedside nurse, and we discussed the case with them. And at that point, mentioned all the injuries, mentioned the lab work, and discussed at that point that we believed that this was abuse. Also mentioned that, yes, OI tests were still pending.
Okay. But that did not constitute a medical diagnosis of child abuse, is your testimony today?
That's not my testimony. This was definitely a medical diagnosis.
Wait a minute. What date was this? Did anybody catch what date she was talking to the on the 18th? Well, she just said that that's when she made her diagnosis. When did she meet with the doctor? I mean, not the doctor. When did she meet with the investigator, the police investigator? Did I miss a date? I feel like it had to be.
I think that's what they're trying to establish is when did this happen? They're just like, oh, well, it never really was.
Okay, wait. Hospital social worker. Oh, it was a phone call. Okay, law enforcement. Oh, she doesn't remember when this meeting was. Well, that's interesting. I don't recall when this meeting was that I talked to the police and told them about my very high concerns, my extremely high in the galaxy concerns about this being abused.
But not diagnosing it.
Until the 18th. But this had to have been.
She just said she didn't diagnose it.
She said she diagnosed it on the 18th, but this is what Catherine Bernard is establishing is that this call took place sometime before her diagnosis, but she's saying, no, here. So she's saying, so you're saying, but here we go.
That did not constitute a medical diagnosis of child abuse, is your testimony today.
That's not my testimony. This was definitely a medical diagnosis of child abuse. When the problem is I don't remember when I spoke to them at that meeting. I don't have that date in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying you don't recall when this conference call took place with multiple members of DFACS, Detective Jody Faulkner.
Yeah. Are you telling me there's no record of this anywhere in an actual investigation for criminal charges? There's no record of this? Lazy investigator? Yeah, I think we can check off lazy investigator off of our bingo card. Let's get over to the bingo card, make sure everybody's caught up. We've got coughing in gallery, drunk or high witness, witch sighting, hair talk, judge gets annoyed. What a bitch. Evasive answers. And now we're going to have, where is it? Where am I not? I'm not finding it. Lazy investigator. There it is. Lazy investigator. Of course she doesn't remember, but there's got to be a record of this conference call somewhere. This is a criminal investigation. You can't have no record of it. And if you're a doctor, if you're a child abuse doctor, aren't you supposed to be writing down every single meeting you have about this case in order to build your case for child abuse? She didn't write this down. She didn't keep a record. Are you freaking kidding me? You've got to be kidding me.
It wasn't important, apparently.
Yeah, apparently not important to them, which is outrageous.
County, an attending nurse, anyone else?
Not an attending nurse, the attending physician.
I was going to write it down, but then I got high.
Dr. Fleming.
It was the attending physician. What about, was it Katie Cloud Johnson, perhaps the RN who participated in this?
It could be.
Okay. So that's at least 3 medical care providers.
Yes.
At least 2 DFACS folks.
Yes.
1 law enforcement.
Yes.
And do you recall if this conversation took place prior to your meeting with Brady and Carrie Timms and Jameson Timms?
It did not occur prior, no.
Okay, so it occurred after your meeting with?
Yes.
Okay. Did it occur after they had been removed from the hospital?
Yes.
Okay. So y'all really didn't even have a conference about?
Wait a minute. They removed them from the hospital before there was a child abuse diagnosis? Is that what I'm understanding?
Right.
That doesn't seem legal.
So let me just chime in, and so what she's talking about is a definitive diagnosis made 4 days later. That's when she put in her official opinion. Mm-hmm. Whenever you see a patient, one of the things that you're trained to do is you start developing what are called differential diagnoses. Okay. I think it's this, but it could be this, could be this, could be this, could be this. Right. But so you at the top of that differential list of differential diagnoses, plural, typically the top one is your most likely, it's your working diagnosis or what have you. And I'm surprised that she's really not differentiating between that, because it's very common to say, I think it's the flu, but it could be COVID, it could be RSV, it could be whatever, right? So I think they're making it unnecessarily complicated, but I understand where the attorney is going. I'm surprised that she's just not swatting that, down. So I don't have as much of a problem with this as you guys do, only because that's how you're trained to be, how you're trained to document as a physician.
Well, except I think what's bothering me the most is not that it took her a while to make the diagnosis, but that they removed this family and broke them apart before there was one, before she actually had a child abuse diagnosis.
1000% agree. And it goes back to my previous conversation about why do you separate a family based on a screening test and not wait until the diagnostic test?
And not wait till the diagnostic.
It's not binary. It's either we do this or we do that. There's all the in-betweens that Megan, you talked about. Let's have supervised visits. Let's have a grandparent in the house. Let's put the baby in the grandparent's house. There's all sorts of
other
shades
ways.
of gray.
There's other ways of getting of making sure that the baby is safe if you suspect abuse, but also not tearing a family apart. There is a middle ground. There is some place where it's not so damaging to the baby. And that's what their concern should be. If they're really supposed to be making decisions about what's best for the child, it is absolutely the worst for the child to rip that child away from its family. It causes brain damage, literal brain damage in an infant, because those neural pathways. And by the way, after they took Jameson away from his mother, his heart rate went up and never came down.
Oh, wow.
So he has been absolutely materially damaged by the separation, and they know this based on studies. They know that babies that are separated from their mothers, especially nursing infants, will have neural pathways that never connect after that, and that causes actual brain damage. There's definitely ways to limit the harm done to the baby, and they never do these things.
And they are, the point that she raised before about, so about abuse is far more common than these outliers, Ehlers-Danlos, et cetera, osteogenesis imperfecta, et cetera. I get that. But, also in medical school, you are, you're taught about when you hear hoofbeats, think of horses, not zebras, right? But what makes a good doctor is the ability to recognize zebras when that's where the data is taking you, where the evidence is taking you, right? And so, listen, I admire the intent of the mandatory reporter, and I respect the duty that many of us have had to pick up as mandatory reporters and do the hard thing. But that's what's required to keep somebody in a safe situation. But again, this lack of a gray zone, and this binary approach is just so damaging, because it's not that the action that you're taking, yes, you can argue that you're keeping the baby safe, but what damage are you causing if it's a zebra and not a horse? Right? So these are not isolated situations that don't have unintended consequences.
Right.
Sorry, I'll get off my.
You took their baby and kicked them out of the hospital?
So again, we don't take their baby. We're a hospital.
We keep their baby.
It is not our decision.
But I didn't get the question. I like this. This is a good question.
So y'all really didn't even have a conference about this before you took their baby and kicked them out of the hospital?
So again, we don't take their baby. We're a hospital.
No, we just direct DFACs to do that.
It is not our decision.
We just recommend it.
To do that. We have no power to do that.
Liar. You absolutely have the power to do that. You call your DFACs person and you say, these people are abusers and we want the child removed. Bullshit. She doesn't have the power.
In fact, we would get in a lot of trouble if we did any kind of that. So
really? What trouble?
that is a decision for
Yeah, don't they all
DFACS
have
and-
immunity?
Well, DFACS
Right.
to do about what kind of placement, what kind of safety implementation they're going to do. And as I mentioned, I believe that Dr. Harbin had called DFACS on the 12th. By the time I'm seeing him, it's the 14th. There's been 2 days for DFACS to figure things out of what they need to do.
Part where it was DFACS, not us.
So did you ever meet April Hunt from DFACS?
April Hunt. What an unfortunate last name. April Hunt is actually, though, she does not really embody the name we could call her. She was actually one of the seemingly most normal witnesses we've had from DFACS. She was the DFACS worker, Joe, who didn't want to take the baby away. She actually recommended that the baby was fine at home and that everyone was safe. So she wasn't the Cahunt we thought she was going to be. But her last name is Hunt.
Fair. Well, I was gonna say, to be fair, she did roll over and just let DFACS do what it
She
did,
did.
and didn't fight for the family, and didn't,
didn't.
like my reports. I seen the family. I've seen it. Nope, she kind
Yeah,
of
she
rolled
didn't.
over, so I don't really have respect.
Yeah,
Well,
she
you don't
let
know
us
that she
supervise
didn't
her.
at all, but I will tell you that sometimes when you stand up and do the right thing, there can be very, very, very significant consequences. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. I mean, and DFACS is one of those places where retaliation is absolutely a factor. So while I didn't like the fact that she didn't appear to fight for the family, that she was the only one from DFACS that ever laid eyes on them or watched them interact with their children, it's true that there's a culture of intimidation and fear. So take that
I like
into
the other C
consideration.
words they're putting in chat to describe her. I agree with the other C words.
Complicit, cowardly. Yeah.
Maybe I'm really terrible with names.
31-year employee of DFACS in Gordon County did a home visit with Brady and Carrie Timms and Jameson Timms on January 12th, 2021.
Again, I'm really terrible with names. Better with faces.
Well, so we're talking about the case of Jameson Timms.
Yes, of course.
So do you recall ever speaking with anyone from DFACS?
Let me remind
who
you
had
what
conducted
case
a
we're
home
on.
Visit with Brady and Carrie Timms and Jameson Timms and observed them feeding, interacting with, observed the home environment, etc.
Yes.
Okay, so you do remember speaking with April Hunt.
I mean, I don't remember her name, but I definitely remember speaking with somebody that went to their home and observed those things. Yes.
Okay, do you remember approximately when that conversation took place?
I don't.
Okay. Was it before or after Brady and Carrie Timms had been removed from the
And
hospital?
of course, she didn't write it
After.
down.
All
She
the
didn't write this
conversations
down
that
either.
happened after
Unreal.
my consultation with them and then after they had been removed.
What? Hold the phone. All your consultations with these people happened after the baby was removed. Shouldn't that have happened before?
Prior.
Shouldn't the child abuse pediatrician have consulted with DFACS and the people who went to the home before that all happened? Oh my God.
No middle gear.
Wow.
All right. Did you ever, in the course of your consultation with an analysis of Jameson Timms, have a DEXA scan performed in order to test for any bone density issues?
No, he was too young. We can't do that before the age of 6 months.
Okay.
There's no standards.
Did you ever become aware of the results of any subsequent DEXA scans performed on Jameson Timms?
I believe that they were normal.
Okay. And when were those performed that you believe were normal?
I believe that they were done when he was 6 or 7 months.
Okay. So you have stayed engaged on Jameson Timms' case, is that fair to say?
The last time I saw him was at 8 months, but I did review records for preparation for court.
Nick Starro is in the chat. Thanks for the 50 sexy money. Says, by the way, I make a much better hair toss than Pot Girl on the stand. Nick, you know what? We may have to do a fundraiser for the Timms, Nick. And if we hit the goal, you're going to have to do prom dress in the creek with us. If you don't know what prom dress in the creek is, let me remind you, Dr. Child Abuse Pediatrician Verena Brown has on her TikTok a video of her splashing around in a creek in a dime store prom dress. And if we hit that goal for Carrie and Brady Timms at some point, we're all going to make videos in a Goodwill prom dress in a creek.
I don't know if anybody told her, but you're not supposed to wear a dress in a creek.
I was so confused about this. I don't know what she's doing or why, but this is going to be a fun video to make. I just hope that we do it before the snow sets in here, because I'm going to be very cold if I have to go to the creek in the winter.
Well, that's why you just film it now, and if you do it,
then we'll
you have
release it.
Pre-filmed, and it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am considering, though, maybe green screening it so I can put myself in the background here, like maybe on these rocks over here, and like tripping and falling down and landing sexy in the water.
That would be great.
Oh God! I would like to see Nick, all 6 feet 6 of him, or however tall he is, in a sequin prom dress in a creek.
Now, was he responsible for any of the notations in his medical and Jameson's medical records from CHOA regarding the attitude of the parents and caregivers at the bedside?
Generally, I might note that in my medical record, my note.
Okay. So would you have noted that they were attentive and engaged?
Yes, they were very attentive and seemed caring.
Would you have noted that they were grateful and compliant?
Yes.
Okay. Was there anything about anything they said to you or the manner in which they were conducting themselves that gave you a specific concern about child abuse?
It wasn't that it was, I mean, obviously the injuries were concerning, and that is the most objective thing that we can have, is what are the injuries showing, and are there any histories that are being given to us that are accidental or medical that would have them cause that, and there were none. But as far as behaviors are concerned, the thing that stood out to me, and it wasn't a concerning behavior per se, but it actually pulled at my heartstrings more than anything. And my heart went out to Miss Timms was when she was talking about her own history of her childhood. And how stressful this situation probably was for her. And then, of course, her postpartum depression.
Your heart went out to her? Ma'am, objection, facts not in evidence. I don't think you have a heart. Facts not in evidence. Where is this alleged heart you speak of?
Did that give you a concern that she was a child abuser?
Well, the thing about it is we can't rule anybody out. It's not my job as a child abuse pediatrician to make that decision. My job as a child abuse pediatrician is to look at the injuries.
Yes, Joe?
Thoughts?
It's not my job to decide whether parents are abusive or not.
Yeah, did she actually say that? Let's hear that again.
My job as a child abuse pediatrician to make that decision.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, you're accusing the Timms of harming his tiny little baby. That, oh, by the way, was kind of like not an easy baby to conceive and deliver, right?
Right.
Yeah, they had to, they used IVF. And yeah.
I mean, and yeah, you've got to assess the parents as potential abusers. To say that that's not your job, holy crap!
They're trying to avoid responsibility. They're trying to avoid responsibility for saying that they don't know who did the abuse, and it's not their job to know who did the abuse. But for sure there was abuse.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, isn't it her whole job to say that there was abuse that happened?
Well, it's her job title. She's called a child abuse pediatrician.
But she doesn't have to say who did it. Yeah.
Well, okay. What they're going to say is it's the police's job to decide who abused the child. And then you're going to watch when the cop gets up. I bet he's going to say, we just relied on the doctors.
Right.
Job as a child abuse pediatrician is to look at the injuries and what we have. And are there mechanisms or medical reasons that child would have the injury? Who did it? I don't know. I can't decide that. That's for investigators to decide. That's for police to decide. I can't say. And I try very hard to not make those decisions. Now, the problem is, we have to say we need to have this baby in a safe environment. But that's going to always be the case in any case that we see that we're concerned about abuse.
So is it fair to say, as you have answered my previous questions, that it was the injuries that were most relevant to you?
Absolutely.
Okay. So was there anything these parents could have said in their meeting with you that would have prevented them from being removed from the hospital 2 hours later while y'all kept the baby?
Again, it's not our decision about what DFACS is going to do. We see DFACS make many different plans as far as safety is concerned. Nothing would have changed as far as, let me back up. If one of them had given me a significant medical history that would have indicated that they had brittle bone disease in their family, or they had other genetic components, or they had major bleeding disorders or anything like that, yes, I would have definitely said indeterminate, because we call a lot of cases indeterminate. And actually, our team picks up a lot of bleeding disorders, and we pick up a decent amount of OI before the geneticists do, because that's kind of our job to make sure that we do that screening. And it's actually one of my favorite parts of the job is when I can pick up something that's a little bit different.
So you didn't do your job in this case.
Yeah, absolutely. If they had been able to tell me we had a weird fall down the stairs, or, oh my gosh, all my life I've broken every bone in my body just, standing there, of course those things would have changed. But as it was, there was nothing in what they explained, unfortunately, that led me to a different conclusion.
Okay.
So think about this, guys.
And so
she's saying that DFACS makes the call, right? Now, DFACS has spent, a minute and a half with the Timms family and maybe 3.5 minutes with the kid. They are relying 1,000% on the doctors who have just spent hours, not only evaluating, but consulting in real time and documenting, right? So DFACS is supposed to make a decision in 5 minutes that you're not responsible for, but everything that you're putting into the record is pointing them in a certain direction. And this is, it goes back to, if you remember the Kowalski case, and there was the dependency hearings that were taking place in the family court, right? And all of that was headed by Howard Hunter, right? Howard was telling them, we've got concerns, we've got to do this, so the dependency court, based on the testimony, would say, okay, we're going to separate the family. Right? But it was because of the input that you get that output, right? She's trying to make the same argument here. Hey, all I did was put fuel in the engine. I didn't drive the car.
Right.
Well, and these are the experts that DFACS and the police you're going to find out look to in these cases.
For sure.
The police, who should be in charge of investigating whether there was any abuse, completely give up their authority to these doctors. And then she has the nerve to get on the stand and say, I'm not the one who made the decision. That's for the police. That's for DFACS. I didn't do it. Yeah, this is all part of the problem, you guys. Oh God,
It's there. See, the
And
one thing I want in all of these cases, I want them to be like, okay, bring in every single person. Who was the person that said, this is abuse, get the ball? I want to know the exact person.
It was
that
her.
Like,
It was her.
but I
Well,
want
and
to get
also
them
Harbin
together
Pickett
where-
and Garcia at Erlanger. All three of them.
But I want all three of them at the on the stand at the same time. So when they all point the fingers, it's like, okay, well, who really did it, bitch? Like, who's telling the truth here? I get all three of them on the stand at the same time so that they can't. I mean, if they do lie on each other, it's in real time and we can find something out. But that's what I
So
want.
funny. I wonder if Garcia is going to be called. I don't know. I haven't watched ahead, so I don't know if Garcia is going to be called also. She's the child abuse doctor at Erlanger, because I would really like to know what her inclusion in all of this was, since the baby was not at Erlanger during this time, but she's the one who also was on the phone with Harbin Pickett and this one. I want to know how much influence she had as well. So
You were seeing them on the morning after they had spent the night unexpectedly in the hospital because
It
y'all
was
had
the
admitted
Spider-Man
Jameson the
meme.
day before, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you've got parents who are sleeping in the hospital room with their child.
Yes.
Okay. Y'all have already, I believe, noted in the record that parents are not to be given information about what's going on with the child, right? That was we can talk to the DFACS liaison about that, but
It's not in my note, so you'd have to tell me exactly where you read that because I can't quote other people's notes. Okay.
so if they had been able to provide you with more information about a family history of fractures and back pain at that point, that would have changed the outcome?
If they would have been able to provide histories that are pertinent to disorders that cause fractures, yes. I will say that the only thing about that I would still have been very, very concerned, and so I might need to take that back. We still have that injury to the bottom of his mouth.
Is that
And
conflicting
that is
testimony?
still something that's going to require force, that he's not going to be able to do that by himself. Like if he has OI, which is a brittle bone disease, that's not going to cause a tear to your mouth. Ehlers-Danlos, right? The hypermobility Ehlers-Danlos, sure, except that, again, in infants, it's not symptomatic. You really have to hit puberty to show symptoms. I'll refrain from quoting literature because I'm not supposed to. So I'll leave it at that.
We change it to Flux hates the witness instead of Flux hates the prosecutor. I hate this bitch.
I'll remember
Every
that for tomorrow's
word.
bingo card.
Oh,
I
every
know.
word that comes out of her mouth, she makes me want to choose Violet. She makes me want to choose Violet.
You have to have force for that. So there's nothing that would have changed that particular sentinel injury. So I think that given
Oh, fantastic timing. Jennifer Williams is with us. Jennifer Williams was in the courtroom. You guys know Jennifer. She works with You Are the Power. And she was in the courtroom for this entire trial. How you doing today, Jennifer?
Oh, I've been listening the whole time and I'm just irritated all over again.
Why are you irritated? Please tell us.
Just like the whole thing, the whole timing of all of this to sit there, and it was a mic drop moment when Catherine made that statement. And I
About
understand.
you didn't even have a conference before
Yes.
you
Took the baby.
this baby. Oh, look at this. Carrie Timms is coming in too. Carrie, your camera is not on for whatever. Oh, there we go. Now I got her. Hey, Carrie.
Hi guys. Morning.
Hi.
Hi.
So what? Yeah, continue, Jennifer. Sorry about that. What was your the mic drop moment, right? When she's like, you didn't even have a conference before you took this baby from this family.
I mean, that's the first time that I cried during this court hearing. It was it was a very sombering, sad moment. And I do understand what Dr. Joe was saying as far as like the notes and the medical and the official. I do understand that. But to kick them out of the hospital and to have police there before the family even arrives, everything was set up against this family. There was no winning for Brady and Carrie. Verena said it. No matter what was said, unless they told her that every bone in their body breaks when they're just standing there, which is a ridiculous statement to make.
Right.
Not everybody knows all of their medical history. Not everybody they don't know all of that. And sometimes new babies have new medical history that parents don't have or grandparents don't have. So just the whole thing, it was a heartbreaking moment to be in that courtroom. It was silent. To hear that, to hear Catherine say it out loud, and to have Verena say, we don't take the babies. Like, that would be illegal. That would be wrong. We can't do that. When you know that's exactly what happened. It's just heartbreaking to me.
Carrie, what are your thoughts on today's testimony so far?
I'm just going to piggyback off of what Jennifer has said. That was something that I'm not exactly sure where we're at in everything right now, but if you can just tell me which part we're at, so I know I'm not speaking ahead or behind.
Right now, Catherine Bernard is crossing Verena Brown, and Verena has admitted that nothing would have changed her mind, not even a pathological diagnosis of a genetic disorder, and that they didn't even have a conference with everybody before the child was removed from you. And I think that that's what everyone is really upset about, is like, wait, what? And also she's basically saying, it's not me that takes the baby. That's DFACS. Right. That's cops. We didn't do it.
Well, they're all going to say that. You'll hear it. Everyone says, not me. Nose goes. And just to hear the fact that she said there was a phone call for a heads up before we were even told we were going to the hospital. That right there was really hard for me to keep a straight face during the trial, because once I heard that I knew that things were in motion. They had to call people in order to get law enforcement there. But to know that they called a specific doctor whose job is to pinpoint abuse before we even got on the road to go to this hospital, this doctor already knew what she was looking for or what she was going to say. And that was very hard.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Well, let's continue with this.
That particular injury with no explanation, I still would have at least called it concerning, but perhaps not most consistent with.
Okay. And you brought up the issue of the injury to the bottom of Jameson's mouth. I believe you previously testified that anytime you see a mark on an infant that you are doing a consult with, you take a photograph of it, right?
Yes.
Why did you not take a photograph of Jameson's mouth on January 14th?
Yeah, so that's a very difficult place to photograph. I just wasn't able to get a good one.
Okay. And the note that was made...
Jennifer, I see you. I see you shaking your head.
I mean, come on, guys. Like, she's literally, I couldn't wait last week when she said that. Like, I always take pictures of all injuries. That's part of protocol. We do that. And then here, her smug little smile. It's just really hard, so I just wasn't able to. And I still documented it as an abusive situation, but I couldn't prove it. I couldn't take a picture of it. It's crazy. That's ridiculous. If I was the investigator in that and someone told me this baby has a mouth injury, I want to A, see it for myself as the investigator, and B, talk to the doctor about it and read the notes. You can't just say I couldn't get a good picture of it.
Well, and there was a picture of it. They did take one at Harbin Pickett's office.
Right.
So it would have been helpful to have another picture of it at the hospital to see, had it gotten worse or was it healing or what? But we have no reference for that. We don't know.
Exactly.
Because my guess was that impetigo on the face, what the baby had rubbed and then stuck his fingers in his mouth and transferred it under the tongue. Can impetigo be in your mouth?
Well,
I don't know, but it seems like it's very contagious, so it might be able to be there. So I don't know.
She could have tried to take the darn picture. I mean, I think everyone can agree. She could have even tried and said, well, this was our attempt, but she didn't even attempt it because it's difficult to do.
She makes it sound like she did though, but we don't see any failed pictures. You're right.
No.
Like she's not, well, here's where I tried to get a picture.
And
Wait a minute.
And I'm over here thinking, oh yeah, that's what doctors are known for. Something difficult, just being like, no, we'll just move on. Because that's totally what doctors do. Oh, it's hard? Yeah, we're just moving on.
By the time Jameson gets to her, he's already gone through the full trauma workup the night before, in which the doctor drew a diagram and just said small dot, diagram with the arrow, small dot. And I even asked him, I said, is that something to be concerned about? He said, I'm not concerned about it. And in the notes, it says, frenulum appears intact at this time. Exact words verbatim. So to her, like, why would she? If they've already said there's nothing concerning. They did the diagram and a frenulum appears intact at this time. So it's like just a bunch of, I don't know, conflicting back and forth stuff.
Oh, conflicting testimony. I believe that's a space on your bingo card, folks. Conflicting testimony. We can now check that off because, we have found more. Here we go.
Medical records when Jameson was admitted on January 13th was that frenulum appears intact at this time, right?
Yes.
Did that give you any cause to question the information that was provided to you by the primary care provider who had initially made this report?
No, because if you look at it, the tear injury, whatever you want to call it, it is sitting right next to the frenulum. So I can see where, when you're looking at that injury, yes, the frenulum is still intact, but it is adjacent to the frenulum. So it's leaving the frenulum intact, but it's still impacting the frenulum.
Okay. But again, it just not able to take a photograph of it?
No.
Megan, I think we have a new term for the bingo card.
Yeah.
Frenulum adjacent.
And you know what's funny is that when you look at the picture that they took of it in Harbin Pickett's office, it looks to me like it's across the entire frenulum. So what the hell is she talking about frenulum adjacent?
Is it
I don't even think this is
that's
accurate.
where Jameson put his thumb when he sucked on it? Maybe.
Babies don't do that. Babies don't do
Yeah.
that.
Well, I've had two that did, so.
Yeah, we were
Go
told
figure.
that babies don't do that. We were told that doesn't happen and that they
Yeah,
don't
and
have
I've
the
never-
muscle control.
Yeah, and I've never seen a baby with the thumb in their mouth on an ultrasound, have I?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You would have loved Harbin Pickett's testimony that babies don't have the muscle control to get their hands in their mouths.
She's been asking clients if they've seen her on Facebook recently. I just got that news this morning.
Wait, say again?
Sarah Harbin Pickett has been asking her patients as they come in the last week or two if they've seen her on Facebook.
Really?
Oh.
So, you know what that means? You got
to post on Facebook.
Hello, Dr. Harbin Pickett. How you doing today? You suck at your job. Just saying. Yeah, I hope all of her patients have seen her on YouTube and Facebook. And I hope all of her patients find other pediatricians, because Harbin Pickett is absolutely awful. I mean, why would you go to a pediatrician that looked like this in the first place? I'm telling you. Folks, when you're choosing a pediatrician, don't get one with resting bitch face that looks like this. Try to find one who doesn't have resting bitch face at all. Just a pleasant, kind person with pleasant, kind facial expressions, but not this one. Woo!
What is the significance of the abnormal lipase finding on Jameson's lab results?
It was low, so no significance. We worry about it when it's high.
Okay. Why is low not an issue?
We have low lipase all the time. Sometimes it's the way that the test is run, the way that it's picked up, the way that it's run through the machine.
And lipase, you are of course the medical expert, but it has to do with blood and blood clotting, right?
Lipase is more to do with intestinal issues.
Okay.
Typically pancreas.
Joan Sclafani, thanks for the 20.
Does it have anything to do with blood metabolites?
A little bit.
Okay.
But we mostly think pancreas when we think lipase.
Mel Klomp, thanks for the 2. Much
So
love and
when-
respect to you, Carrie, and husband.
And you weren't able to compare any of these results to the labs from Erlanger, right? Because they were lost?
So Erlanger had some labs. They were, so no, not all of them.
Why is this
Because
funny?
They did lose some of them, but they were able to do
Oh!
a CBC.
Yeah, let's talk about Erlanger. Well, they did lose some of the blood tests. They did lose some, not all, but some they lost, right there. Just throw it all out, okay? You lose blood tests, I don't want to hear from you. As an expert in anything, you get nothing. You get nothing. Good day, sir. That's just ridiculous. Nick Starro, thanks for the sexy money. I'll have to borrow Mo's pregnancy prom dress. I would love to see it. Carrie, we've all decided that if you hit your goal on your GoFundMe, we are going to make one of these videos. Let's see, where did it go? Here it is.
Carrie, for the record, I was not part of that agreement. She said we all. I was not part of that.
No, Joe's not going to do it. But we're trying to talk Nick into it.
Is that her?
Yes.
Have you never seen this?
Where did this? What is this?
Carrie, Mandy found
Oh,
it.
this isn't even the
No.
worst of it.
My dad is sitting here. That's Dr. Brown. This
isn't even the worst one.
She loves this arm thing, doesn't she?
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's the arm
Oh,
that
yeah.
scoops the babies up and takes them away.
This is like maybe she's on the way to her house made of candy
Oh
in the
my
woods.
gosh.
What is this even for?
The
Okay.
sentient
That's
anatomy. This
Did
is
you
on
know
her.
that your body can feel things?
Did you know that?
I feel things right now.
She's this is on her
But-
TikTok page.
I am
But
not my
she's
pain.
also-
I can let it go. That was perfect. Perfection.
Well, Megan, tell her about the sexology stuff.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew the,
Oh, okay.
the
All right.
podcast she had. Yes. Very
Did you see
familiar.
her scrunchy video?
Yeah, she's all the things.
No, the scrunchy
not-
video where she
no.
describes female anatomy using a scrunchie.
We can pass that. I trust you.
Smart call.
Yeah, you'll
Smart
never
call.
wear a scrunchie again if I show it to you. The
So
chat
who's-
has already burned all of theirs.
So who's doing this video? Who's recreating?
All of us. All of us. If you hit your goal, we're going to go to the Goodwill and we're going to find Goodwill prom dresses and we're going to prance around in the creek.
Oh gosh.
We're gonna end up looking like the sirens from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh God, I hope so. I hope so.
Oh gosh.
Oh, the arm, the drama of it all.
Carrie, I
This
really do
woman.
want you to hit your goal, but now I'm kind of terrified because I promised to, and now I'm just
Jennifer said she
rethinking it.
My dad says bonus points for whoever has the best lazy eye and looks the most intoxicated while they're doing
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can do a lazy eye. I can do that. I'm gonna
How do
win
you
that.
like
Might be
my
able to do
pause
that.
game? Check out my pause game here.
It's
This is
every
pretty
time,
good.
Megan. It's every
I
time.
know. Every pause. Every single one. Oh my gosh. All right. I'd say I have about 15 more minutes before I have to call it quits today. But we will definitely come back. We're going to come back tomorrow with more part 3 of Dr. Brown's testimony. So don't fear.
Which is your basic hemoglobin, like your basic blood. Like when you go to your doctor, they'll do a CBC. And they were able to do your coags, which are your basic clotting factors, and they were able to do the factor 8, which is the main one for hemophilia, and they were able to do factor 9. That's the one that we talked about that's a little bit low in newborns. They lost some of the other ones like von Willebrand and things like that, which was unfortunate. So no, we couldn't compare those, but those other main ones we were able to. And in addition to that, there was a Dr. McManus at Erlanger that reviewed the lab work
That's
with
a new
Dr.
doctor.
Garcia.
McManus.
I think there was a note from December 7th in that record that said everything was normal there as well. But that's why I wanted to do them again at SHOA, because then we could add the von Willebrand and some of the other things that we needed.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to turn back to DFACS a little bit since you have obviously worked with them fairly extensively. Are you familiar with the new protocol that has been put into place as of February 14th, 2025 regarding medical diagnoses of child abuse?
I am.
Okay, and how are you familiar with it?
So our legal department is still reviewing it at this time. So that's as much as I know about it.
Okay. So have you been asked to sign a medical attestation statement yet on any of the cases on which you have served as a child abuse pediatrician?
Not yet.
Okay. And the attestation statement in the protocol asks that I, physician's full name, attest that I have thoroughly reviewed the medical history of the patient's name, including but not limited to past medical and surgical history, previous diagnoses and treatments, medication history and allergies, laboratory and imaging results, specialist and consultant reports, and hospitalization and procedure records. I confirm that I have considered this information in my medical decision-making and diagnosis for the patient. So that you have not signed that attestation on any cases so far.
Correct.
Right. Would you have been able to sign it for Jameson Timms on January 14th, 2022?
Check on relevance, that didn't even exist to February of 2025. So if it's still reviewed by the legal department, they're not signing them today. I object to the form of the question. It's not relevant for this case. It couldn't have been signed.
And I was asking her as a hypothetical if she would have been able to sign it on January 14th of 2022, the time at which Jameson Timms was removed from his parents based on a medical diagnosis of child abuse.
I'll overrule the objection. I'll let you ask in the form of a hypothetical. You've prefaced your question with the fact that this did not come into effect till February of 2025. So.
Of course, Your Honor, we do want to be candid with the jury about that.
Overruled.
So would
can
you
check
have been
that
able
off.
to sign that attestation statement on January 14th, 2022 as to Jameson Timms?
No, but one of the problems is that, on most patients, it would be really hard to sign that attestation because we generally, we can't know whether or not we have all the medical records sometimes.
What? But did you even look for them though? But see, here's the problem. And here's what she's getting at, what Catherine's getting at, is that there were birth records that they should have taken into consideration because he had a very difficult birth. And they didn't. As far as I know, they didn't take that into consideration. So what why would she say it's most babies they can't do this for? Then you're not doing your job if you're not looking at the entire medical records. You're not doing your job.
And remember earlier, other witnesses like the radiologists in this case, in this trial, had talked about Epic. Oh, well, we can see everything when they're asked, did you know the age? Did you know, any background of this patient before you looked at the x-rays? Well, yeah, the information's there. I mean, they have systems where they can look at everything. Have you ever gone to a doctor and them not ask you what your medical history is?
Never.
It's important.
And I would
Why
imagine
would you act like you can't get it? The parents are in the room. Ask them.
Not to mention that nowadays too,
And
everything is linked.
Yeah, even
Well, I mean,
parent
she
medical
already
history, I
said
think at
short
one
of-
point, they're like, "Oh, that's a HIPAA violation."
Yes. I can't look at mom's records. That's a HIPAA violation.
Well, they could have asked.
I will sign that all day. Give me a medical release form. Yes, give me a release
Right.
form. I'll sign it. I don't care.
Right.
Give it to me. I want to have
And
everything.
expecting a mother in the middle of this emergency situation that is obviously going to be taking up all of her mental and emotional capacity, expecting her to be like, do you want to see my medical history? That's too much. The doctors ought to be asking for that. I'm sure Carrie and Brady both were just too terrified with whatever the hell else was going on and being separated from their baby. They're supposed to offer up that information. They're supposed to think of everything. Give me a break.
Carrie, also, one question I had before Carrie got on. Verena Brown talked about your postpartum depression.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, did that ever come up? Did she ever talk to you about that? Because you and I have obviously
Never.
talked.
I still do not know where that came from. I've never had depression. I've had anxiety. I have never, ever been diagnosed with any kind of depression. I don't know what depression even feels like. So for me to say, I think I might have postpartum, the only kind of like negative emotion I had is when these witches came in and said that they were going to take my baby. That's when I started freaking out. But if you look, I even asked in juvenile court because they give you a form that I forget the name of the form, but it basically assesses your risk factors for being postpartum and like depression and all that. They fudged that form and said that I had filled it out and nothing. I never filled it out. I had never filled it out. And that's one thing that my juvenile attorney had pointed out. She said, y'all have that she completed this form. Where is it? And they go through the file and the form is there and it's blank.
Oh, boy.
So I just wanted that on the
problem.
record because Verena Brown, just before Carrie and I got on, had
She
talked
did.
about how her heart went out to Miss Timms. Her heart.
Dr. Harbin, the heart, facts not in evidence. Dr. Harbin Pickett said that she had concerns about postpartum depression, but did Harbin Pickett ever discuss that with you, Carrie?
No, the only time she ever brought anyone in to discuss anything with me was after she had already made the DFACS referral. In the Harbin's office, you have your pediatric side, and then they have like a walk-in family doctor side. They had a family doctor come over and see, like, how can we help you calm down? And I'm like, I don't know how you can just not take my child. You cannot threaten to take my child. That is the only type of conversation that was surrounding any sort of negative behavioral or mental thing with me. But that was after they had already threatened to take my child or make a DFACS referral.
This is terrible. All right, let's see.
That be important to know if you have all of the medical records to review in a particular case?
The thing is that you can't prove a negative. And so when you are relying on other people to send you things, it is impossible to know if the other parties are being responsible and sending you everything that they have.
Well,
So we just don't wait
Do you
for
not
it.
feel like you can rely on?
So we don't just we just don't ask for it because I can't tell you if what's being sent to me is accurate or not. So we don't want it. We don't want it. Just gonna diagnose anyway.
Other medical
Holy
professionals
shit.
to provide you with all of the information that would be relevant to making a determination in a case like Jameson Timms?
The thing is, it's not just medical professionals, right? It's medical staff. Sometimes it's going to be defects. Sometimes it's going to be, other hospitals.
So you don't trust
know
defects or
where
medical staff
records are
either?
coming from. And so when
You
you're
don't?
signing a legal
This
document,
is bullshit. You do know exactly where all medical records come from. Dr. Joe, is it let's say you ask for medical records because you have a patient, who's just a new patient. You ask for the medical records. Do you know when they get to your office where they came from?
Well, yeah, because there's a return address.
Yeah, I would assume so. They don't just show up from an anonymous, with like letters cut out of a magazine.
Right. A ransom
like,
note.
so-
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
That's kind of an odd statement, but hey, I don't live in Georgia, so I don't know. Maybe it's different there.
that you've reviewed everything and you're just not sure where your sources are from. It's really difficult to say that you know that for certain. You can't control what other people are sending you, so that's tricky.
But the same could be said about colleagues, right? I mean, how do you know
more
that you know what they're
difficult?
talking about, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you don't not consult them just because they might not know what they're talking about, right? Didn't she consult with Dr. Dixon? Was she concerned that Dr. Dixon didn't give her all the right information? So you'd rather not have the information?
Because it might not be
Because it might not be accurate?
Well, and remember what Sally Smith repeatedly said. Well, yeah, but I disagreed with it, so I didn't include it.
Right. That's
so contrary
right.
opinions don't matter. When you're
That's
building,
right.
and that's the difference between building a case and working toward a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm. Is she, like Jennifer just typed in the private chat to me that she's admitting, and I think she is admitting, that you can't trust doctors? Is that what she's saying?
That's what she said. I mean, think about it. We don't know
Or
if we can
medical
trust
staff
sources.
or defects for that matter.
Yeah.
Can't trust any of them.
The first
Yeah.
true statement she's made.
Well, I think what she's saying is you can choose your facts, right?
Yes, you can choose which ones to believe and which ones to just disregard.
Yeah.
Then making a determination that a child's medical condition is so bad that he must be removed from his parents?
Wait, I
So
need the
bad, then
context of that question.
People are sending you, so that's tricky.
Okay. Is it more difficult than making a determination that a child's medical condition is so bad that he must be removed from his parents?
Ask that question again, because I'm not sure that is something that I can answer since I'm not DFACS. So I want to make sure that I would be answering the correct question.
Well, and I certainly understand your and DFAC's concern about having legal review everything, and that I suppose there are people who would be concerned that having to sign off on a medical attestation form assuring and attesting that you have reviewed all of the available medical information about a child. What I'm asking is if that is more difficult than actually reviewing those documents and making a determination about the child that can result in a 3-month-old infant being taken away from his parents.
I would say that it is easier to review the medical records available, which is something that I did. Erlanger in Epic, Epic is our medical system. I was able to review his birth records. I was able to review his hospital records from his Erlanger visit. And he was only 3 months old at the time, so thankfully there wasn't a ton to review.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for bringing that up. So you were able to review all of the records from Advent.
You never want to hear a defense attorney say that. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Now let me stab you with what I know. Like, thank you very much. You just reminded me. I'm dying to know what she's going to come out with next. So you were able to review all of the records from Advent. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up.
Health before making your diagnosis of Jameson Timms, right?
I was able to, Advent Health is his birth hospital. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So you reviewed the final.
She just realized, oh shit, I am able to view all of the records at Advent. Did you review, and this is what's coming next. Did you review his birth records? And she's going to have to say no, I bet. That's what I'm betting. I don't know. I haven't watched this, but there will be now no reason for her not to have reviewed them because she's admitted she had access to all of them. Am I right?
And she just said, we can't do that because we can't trust the sources and there's no way to know where it's coming from. And then she's like, oh, we have Epic and we can review everything. It's like,
yes. What?
Diagnosis regarding the dense subchorionic fibrin deposition with villus fibrosis and hypoplasia, increased syncytial giant cells consistent with Tenney-Parker change because of maternal hypertension.
Holy
Is
medical
that
jargon.
Mother's records?
It's the records related to the delivery of Jameson Timms.
Okay, so because that's mother's records and mother's not my patient, I can't review those records. I could only read Jameson's records.
Okay, so you're saying that the records from the OBGYN who delivered Jameson.
What, Carrie? Say again, Carrie?
That's not true. Those are not my records. It was part of the birth records because that the Tenney-Parker and all that, it's related to the placenta. So it's with Jameson's medical records, not mine.
That depends, Carrie. It may be the case in Jameson's case, but many times the placental pathology ended up on the mom's chart in my experience. And I haven't delivered a baby in 20 years. So, but when we would send the placenta, it was many times it ended up on the mom's chart.
But listen to this. She could say,
Regardless,
Mom
they had this information the whole time.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, it was there. There's no question.
And she's able to say mom's postpartum depression. So she can talk about Carrie.
She can talk about
mom. It's convenient for her to throw Carrie under the bus. But then she's like, oh, that's mom's records. I can't talk about that.
And she never asked for permission to view mom's records, which she absolutely could have done.
And should have, yes.
Uh-huh. And Carrie has already said she was willing to absolutely give them to her. So that's something she should have done.
Would not have been a part of your review?
Oh, yeah. For those of you in the chat don't know, yes, Dr. Goodhair was an obstetrician all of his career, right? The entire career you were delivering babies.
20 years of delivering babies, over 3,000 kids and over 10,000 surgeries. Yeah.
In fact, he tells a really funny story about having delivered his sister-in-law's baby and that coming up at the Thanksgiving table.
No, we're not telling that story.
You knew her before you met your wife, right? Or you had her as a patient or something?
Yeah. Yes.
That's not awkward Thanksgiving dinner at all.
Well, I also did 6 years before I ever laid eyes on my now wife. I did her mother's hysterectomy. So yeah, it was not an isolated incident.
Well,
that's life in a small town.
More family togetherness. What do you know? No secrets in that family.
It was awesome.
That's right. Because those are mom's records. Mom's not my patient. So because
thanks
of
for that, Megan.
I can't see those records unless mom would, allow me to. Okay.
Well, I wish she'd asked, did you ask her for the ability to look at those records?
All right. And if I could, going back to the question of the...
All right. Actually, we're going to have to stop here because I have to get my daughter to school. So I'm going to have to cut this off at this point. But we will be back tomorrow, I believe, at the same bat time, same bat channel. Obviously, all of you are invited to participate again tomorrow. make sure you get over to Dr. Joe's channel on YouTube because he's firing it back up. It's CMO Dr. Joe on YouTube. Mods, if you can drop that link in the chat, make sure you guys go over there and subscribe. Also to Rosalind Duke and House of Flux, and make sure you're following youarethepower.net. They have a Twitter page. It's I think it's YATP.
YATP. Yeah.
Official, I think, on Twitter. I think that's what their Twitter account is. Make sure that you're following them. And Carrie, is there anything that you want to leave us with today that you've got on your mind?
No, I'm all behind the making that goal because I want to see some people dancing in the stream.
Yes. So make sure you visit the Brady and Carrie Timms GoFundMe.
I've never been more excited to meet a goal before in my whole life.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun with it. I can't wait to go shopping at the Goodwill for my sequiny prom dress. It's gonna be great. All right, guys. So we're done for the day here, but I'll be back tomorrow at 9. Please do make sure you hit that like and subscribe on the way out. And thank you so much for your support of the show and for your support of Carrie and Brady Timms. And everybody, I just thank Dr. Joe for being here and my panel. And thank you, Carrie, for being here as well. And we will see you guys tomorrow. If I can find my outro video. Megan, where did you put it? Why do I always have such a hard time finding it? I have no idea why I have such a difficult time finding it. Where is it? All right, I guess we'll play the short one today because I don't seem to be able to find my goodbye video. What did I do with it? Ah, there it is. Okay. Everybody, see you later. Check back in for new bingo tomorrow. We'll be back at 9 a.m. Central Time. Thanks, guys.
Frenulum adjacent.
I was so lost, my world is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. Alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices. Oh, and my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices, and my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye.
Johnny's problem is he should have come storming in there with a string of garlic and some holy water. May the power of Christ compel you.
No, I don't.
You realized his house was infested with succubuses.
Of what it, yes.
Succuloters.
When you arrived in the afternoon. I don't remember saying it now. So while she
No wonder he said drown her before you burn her.
Oh my God.
You-
Your next witness?
Now I know
Witness
why you wanted to drown her.
Iglesias, and that is
Witness
also
lives in
by
Romania.
video.
Is that correct?
That begins with Miss Vasquez.